All right, everybody.
What's up?
We are here.
Are we live?
We're live. We're live. We are alive, and we are live.
Do I look like I'm alive?
You look really good. You look like a White Walker from Game of Thrones. You look like you've just been risen from the dead, maybe for your 10th time.
I'm getting feedback that I look like a homeless bum right now.
But that's okay.
I'm going with the I don't care. I'm not combing my hair or shaving right now.
I like it.
It's easy.
Yeah.
Makes me feel good about
Roll
myself.
out of. How many days do you take a shower this week?
How many days are in a week?
7.
0.
Nice.
Nah, I think I've got
The
one
pool.
so far.
More in the
counts,
shower.
yeah.
Cleans you up.
I guess.
Nice.
Right.
Hey, as long as the wife doesn't complain, whatever. I've gone a few days, except for I can't go to bed dirty. I've got to go to bed clean. It doesn't work like that.
You take a shower at night?
I take a shower, even if it's midnight. I take a shower, so I'm clean
Don't
in
you
my
really
bed.
dried out at that point?
No, I feel beautiful.
Do you take a shower in the morning if you have to go to work?
Absolutely not. And sometimes I get to put deodorant on in the morning.
So then it really doesn't matter. It's just simply your sheets are clean.
Yes, I have to sleep clean.
And the rest
I
of the day,
wipe my sheets down. I wipe my feet, so there's no dirtiness in the bed.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you comb your hair in the morning when you go to school and stuff like that?
Oh yeah, I get wet, get my hair wet. I can put some dew on it. It's all good. I'm good.
I think I'm going to stick with this no matter what.
Yeah.
My future.
You don't even need bedhead because it's almost like something.
Kind of like a new style.
Something about Mary.
I think I'm doing a new style. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what have even done.
I've gotten some criticism from friends just wondering if I need to have a counseling session, but I like it. This is what I'm going for.
Lord.
I'm going to start selling it.
Oh man. So anyways, it is knee deep in preseason. I'm loving it. Steelers had a wonderful game against. I mean, wonderful as in their backups look really good. I'm very impressed with some people. Some of the other teams around the NFL, I've just been excited, and we are about 2 weeks away from this preseason being over and getting set.
Yeah, I don't care at all about football. Not one bit. I don't care if the Ravens are good. Really, even the Packers. The only thing I care about is my fantasy teams.
I can't do it. You.
The only thing I care about are fantasy teams.
I pay $250 a month for DirecTV so that I can watch every football game, so I can see at least a little bit of everything.
All I need is Red Zone. Show me who's scoring. Let me have my live Yahoo app or whatever.
This is the problem with America nowadays. Nobody cares about the actual game. I love the game.
Well, it's ironic because today we're going to be talking about fantasy.
We are talking about fantasy, yep.
Specifically, we have our neighborhood draft coming up on the 3rd, Sunday before Labor Day. 12 guys, 11 guys in the neighborhood and Mike's dad. It's a 12-team league, and it's a Superflex league, so you have a quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 wideouts, a tight end, and 2 flex positions. One that only will allow running back, wide receiver, tight end, and then a super flex position that will allow those 3 plus a quarterback or a quarterback.
Which, by the way, was just changed.
Yeah,
we just made the amendment to the constitution of our league.
Agreed. Bowers just texted. He's actually crying at work and thinking of taking a sick day because he's so upset of all the planning he did.
Oh, he doesn't have sick days after his vacation. He doesn't have time to plan.
That's true.
This is going to be on
I think
the
he just
fly.
plans at work. I don't think he actually does work.
I think when we golf that morning, it'll be a planning session.
Probably.
Yeah, we'll just tell him to take like Jay Ajay.
We'll bring Natty Light for him and Arnold to drink it.
Take Carson Wentz and all those good stuff.
Oh yeah, please.
We can get them drunk by noon. F it.
This way though, you don't have. No one has to take Carson Wentz because you're not required to take 2 quarterbacks. So this, I'm telling you, people are going to love this.
This guy
You're going to take Carson Wentz.
Number 1 quarterback overall.
All right, so we're going to preview. Basically, we're going to preview 2 quarterback leagues, as well as PPR because that's what we do. So we're going to talk a little. It's going to be specific to our league, but you can apply it to any 2 quarterback league. And I recommend that you get in leagues that challenge you in different ways. There's the standard, non-PPR. There's the half PPR. There's the PPR league. And for people who don't know, PPR is points per reception. For every reception that a guy has, you either get a point or half point for it. But the more roster spots you have, the more it makes you think, the more it makes you learn the league, right? If we only have 6 roster spots a team times 12 teams, it's what? 72?
And by the way, I hate 12-team formats.
I know. You wanted to do like 4-team formats, and everyone on your team's an all-star. Mm-hmm. So anyway, so we're challenging a couple people just with having 12 teams of regular.
And I think, honestly, the next challenge is, and it's gotten a little bit of pushback, I'm looking more and more at this auction stuff. I think auction's
the way to go.
It looks like it's really fun.
The hard sell on that is, though, if guys are doing this as a casual league.
Right.
It's one thing to draft and have like top 5 guys in front of you and pick one, and there's another thing to be like, all right, we're doing, Michael Thomas right now, and to tell them like what value he has on an auction on a salary cap or whatever. That's tough. Like, you and I might know, Michael Thomas should be $36 or something,
right.
But like Josh might be like, I've got no clue. I just want to construct a team.
Be something to look into. Maybe a secondary league next year or something like that.
That way, it allows you to get.
Right.
You can get Bell and Johnson on the same team.
right?
If you
maybe.
wanted to, if you bid for them.
And then just everybody else would be $0.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
All right, so that's what we're going to do. In addition, for the guys in the league, you better be listening because the only way you're going to know the draft order this year
is right here.
We're drawing it live.
This is like halftime of the second round of the NBA where we do the lottery picks live.
It's going to be awesome. And then we'll go over a couple. So
now, before you do that, what are you looking for? What do you want as your pick? If you could say right now, Danny, here's your pick, what do you want as your pick?
I don't know.
You don't know.
I haven't prepped for a 2 quarterback yet or a super flex. I haven't. In a standard or a PPR league, I'd want 1 or 2. I want David Johnson or Le'Veon Bell.
I am on the opposite of you. I would like to take that in a 12-man league. I would like to take that 10, 11, 12 position. I've fared very well. What I want to stay away from is the 4, 5, 6.
So what
I'm not a fan of that.
What are you going to do if you get 10, 11, 12? Are you going to go quarterback in this league since it's
when I was doing before when I was doing the double quarterbacks, I was going quarterback. In one league, I had Ryan and Rodgers, number 1, number 2. They have that ball all the time. They were one of the 5 guys that scored over 300 points last year in fantasy in regular format leagues. And I really feel you can get value in the second, third round with some running backs, and wide receiver depth is just out there. And it's there. So
I mean, like you said, Rodgers and Ryan were the 2 highest scoring players in our league last year.
Right. So if I could get them at 11 and 14,
I don't think you will. I think Rodgers went 7 last year.
Oh, sure.
But
right.
yeah, I understand.
But I'd still take Breeze and Ryan.
Yeah.
So I like the tail end. I like doing that back to back. I don't like the one position where you get the 1, 20, 21. Yeah, it's too much in between. You know.
I like because David Johnson, Le'Veon Bell are going to score on average 8 or 9 points greater per week than the next guy in my belief. And so, like, if I have to settle for Mariota and I don't know,
which by the way is not really settling. He's
I love Mariota,
right.
but like if he's 6 points less than Rodgers or Brady on average, it's about scoring as many points as possible.
The difference between top 2 running backs and the third is compared to the difference of the top 2 or 3 quarterbacks, and that 4th or 5th is a lot different.
That said, in a 2 quarterback or a Superflex league, quarterbacks are extremely important. So it throws a monkey wrench, and that's why I said I don't know. I'm prepping right now for a long-standing league I've been in for 12 years. It's a half PPR league, 1 quarterback, and then Ryan and I are doing an NFFC league, a National Fantasy Football Championship league, which is the one hosted like through Vegas, and it's like validated and everything. And the first place prize is $100,000, and that too is a 1 quarterback league. So those are the ones I've really been prepping for. Other than like for this podcast and then casually getting ready for ours. So I don't really know.
Well, the good thing is we're going to get the true Dan Goolsby this year because last year, due to circumstances through work and everything, Dan came in like a zombie for our draft. We didn't know who he was, where he was. It wasn't the typical Dan where cracking jokes, having fun, being a good guy. He literally sat there for 2 hours, didn't say a word, barely wanted to have a drink with some of us. And it was just boom because you know why?
I had to leave right away and go back to work.
Right, because he was doing stuff for work. So this year plans and looks to be a lot more fun.
Yeah, except for last year I did end up with the best team in the regular season, so it worked out for me.
Yeah, you walked through it, and you actually were pretty good.
I took Brady in the second round, and people chastised me for that because he missed 4 games with suspension.
Right.
But once I think I went 3-1 or 2-2 in that period.
Yeah.
Because I took Tannehill and he got me through it, and then once I had that, I had.
It was cake down there.
Brady and Cousins, and I'm not a Cousins guy, but for fantasy,
no, but he was one of the guys in the 300s. That's right.
Easy, you know.
So you did a good job there.
And I had Brown. I took Brown number 1 overall. So Antonio Brown's no slouch, obviously.
That's right. So,
all right. Well, before we get started, real quick, we just done top 5 lists the last 2 weeks, and so I've got 2 of them for you. This one should.
I think we ended off with the movies, and you gave me a hard time about all the movies.
You took 17 Star Wars movies in your top 5.
That's all you're gonna give me.
So this week
I got 2.
I got 2. This first one should be easy for you.
Okay.
Top 5 favorite beers.
Oh, and you know what? We ended off with the hotties too, and we couldn't come up with them, so that was a tough one.
Yeah, we don't really like women or anything. So.
I told you my number 1, and you're like, really? I'm like, well, it's this time. So beers? Are we talking brand? Are we talking style?
Your favorite beers? If you could only have 5 beers in your
fridge.
If
I could only have 5 beers in my fridge right
now. For the rest of time, yeah. 5 beers you rely on. I'll start it.
You
start.
Okay.
Double Duckpin.
From Union Craft Brewery down in Baltimore.
Double IPA. Love it. Old Pro from Union
Craft Brewery.
I'm a big fan of Oliver's Easy Riding. I don't think you are. Right?
I don't like it. No.
It's the blonde ale.
No.
I like the nitro version as well. More than the standard.
The regular, yeah.
Citra Splendor. Citrus IPA from Manor Hill in Ellicott City. and then lot number 3, an IPA from Evolution.
Okay.
Here in Maryland as well. So those would be, if I had 5 I could choose. I got myself a sour. I've got 3 IPAs, one of them being a double, and then I've got a blonde nitro in there as well. And I'd be very happy with it. No Miller Lite for me.
Right.
Arnold's fridge looks like Miller Lite, the 30 I just gave him, Natural Light, Zima, and Mike's Hard Lemonade.
Oh God, that's funny. All right, well, this is a tough choice. I'm going to go with a double IPA from Pennsylvania called Liminal Moment, which is a fantastic double IPA from South County Brewing. My brother-in-law got me into that about a year and a half ago, which does not mean to say that Double Duckpin isn't good, but I just prefer that. I'm going to also go with you on Citra Splenda. I think that's a fantastic citrus beer. The hops in that are fantastic, and I don't care what anyone says, brewer or not. I think Manor Hill is one of the top breweries in our state. I really like them. Being local, it's really good too. I will go with the sour also, but I'm going with the more expensive sour. I'm going with the Burley Oak Sorry Chickie. I think the dry hopped is the way that I like it. And I honestly have not had a sour Chickie this summer because I have been unwilling to pay the $17 for the 6-pack. Union is a little bit cheaper at $11, so that is fantastic there.
Yep.
So what is that? 3 of them?
That's 4, right?
Burley Oak, Liminal, and
Manor Hill.
Manor Hill, yeah. So I got
3
more.
Yep.
I am going to go with RAR's Hyde with Galaxy hops.
Yep.
They actually are releasing Hyde this weekend, but it's not with the Galaxy hops. It's with I can't remember. It's like Newman. Okay. Newman hops. It's something different. And a lot of people are saying it's not going to be as good.
It's hard because it's a damn good beer. Like,
it's a very good beer. Right. It's a very good beer. And then my number one beer. I mean, if my go-to. I mean, I might have to come back to Manor Hill and just go with Manor Hill's regular IPA. Yeah. Just to me, the Manor Hills, they've got that sort of that grapefruity flavor to it. As soon as you crack it with RAR too, and probably I would just say the beer at the moment from RAR or Manor Hill. I love both those breweries. I can't get out to RAR as much as I would like. Right now, my 3 favorite breweries are Manor Hill, RAR, and South County up in Pennsylvania.
Right.
So that's what I would go with if I had to have them.
I mean, I think we are very. I mean, my understanding is that the craft brewing business has boomed so much, and while it's apparently coming on the downswing eventually, no matter what state you're in, you probably have decent options. But here in Maryland, like Manor Hill's just popped up in the last 3 years.
Yeah.
And I was like, when you draft them in our fantasy beer league, kind of laughed at you, like, where's this little Manor Hill place? Now they're distributing multiple beers throughout the state, and you can go there and get other stuff on tap as well. Manor Hill is my favorite brewery. And then I've got 2 Unions on here. Mm-hmm. I don't love every Union beer, but they're probably 75% of the stuff I've tasted from there is great. Like, I love it. And I'm a big sour guy, so I had to have a sour on my list, and that's my favorite sour there is. And I honestly think it's my favorite IPA of anything. Is a Double Duckpin. Like, it's so especially when you get it fresh, how crisp it is.
Now, see, mine would go back to, and it's discontinued. They don't make it anymore. But Burley Oak makes the secret sauce.
Okay.
And it was like a double IPA, very creamy. I love that.
You love creamy stuff.
And yes, I do. And they dropped it. But I'll tell you, I went to a brewery this weekend in Raleigh, North Carolina, where I was, and I had a beer, and I was over it because it was a cream ale, and it tasted
blah.
So it was like one of these things. I think you're right. All these breweries are popping up, and they're making all these beers. But unless you have, like we've talked about, like a hook or something. When I open an RAR up, when I open a Manor Hill up, there is something about that beer that is like, holy hell. Now I might be biased because that's where a lot of my friends give me beers from. But even with South County, you open the beer and you smell it, you taste it, you're like, this is different than what I've had at J&R's Brewery down in Virginia or Leesburg or something like that. So that's one of the reasons I like
we don't have a lot of options here in Westminster either. We have Johansson's brews their own,
right.
A couple different styles, and they're not bad, but it's just like, Like I go there and I get the 4-pack sample or whatever they call it, the flight, and it's okay. But if it had Manor Hill on tap, I would 100% take Manor Hill.
Oh yeah.
Over even trying whatever they're brewing because they haven't done anything impressive, and it's not a slight on them. It's just there's so much out there. Once you find 1 or 2, like I said, the reason for this was if you had 5 beers you could put in your fridge for the rest of the time. Like I know these 5. The one I forgot about that you introduced me to, the 10-layer cake.
Yeah, and that's actually coming out this weekend again.
That's a stout, right?
Yeah, dessert stout. It's coming out. The original's
coming.
In
the winter, I like stouts. In summer, I'm not.
It's hard.
I'm not a big stout guy, so I don't know that I'd want it in my desert island or 12 months out of the year.
I might want the first meal too, because I could wake up every morning and drink that baby.
It tastes like
It
syrup.
tastes like it is the best. Number 5. So, anyways, yeah, this weekend RAR is bringing out their Hyde. They're bringing out the Maryland, which is fantastic, and the Maryland.
The Maryland.
And then chocolate layer, but unfortunately, I don't have $400 or $500 like some of my buddies do to go out and buy 18 cases of it. So
I have $0, so I have like 4 beers in my fridge right now.
Now I will tell you before we move on, it's a very small place that I just found in Hanover, PA. So it's about a 25-minute drive. But Bob's Beer and Soda, fantastic microbrew section. Plus they've got about 7 to 10 taps from local microbreweries you can get growlers from.
When you say local, you mean PA ones?
PA, Maryland. Okay. Yeah, so I mean, there's some good stuff up there if you ever have a chance, and anyone listening, Bob's Beer and Soda up in Hanover. Really good.
All right, one more top 5.
Yeah.
Your top 5 TV shows of all time. The reason I bring it up because we're nearing the end of Game of Thrones without giving any spoilers away for anything. Because we're not talking about Game of Thrones, but just I feel like Game of Thrones is in a lot of people's top 5. So the top 5 television shows that you could watch, I guess, over and over again, but also value just for everything involved. The writing, the acting, the cinematography, the storyline, the plot, the consistency throughout, the ability to have you to guessing and thinking about, the message they're trying to get across. So again, I'll lead it off since I'm putting you on the spot. I kind of did a little bit of prep. Number 1 for me, by far, there's nothing even in the stratosphere, in my opinion. Yes, you can make a guess.
The Wire.
Nope.
Wow, good job.
The Wire's number 2 on my list.
Okay, I would have said The Wire just because of your background.
I'm a drug dealer.
No, on the law enforcement side.
Right. I love The Wire. The Wire would be my number 1 if it weren't for my number 1. But my number 1 is in a different universe. Breaking Bad. There's nothing that compares to Breaking Bad. If I had to pick one television, movie, music, anything, it'd be Breaking Bad. I'd watch it over and over and over and over again. Greatest thing ever produced. Number 2 for me is The Wire. Number 3 is Deadwood. HBO
You talk
series.
A lot about that. I only got into a season, and
I love Al Swearingen.
Yeah.
I love Deadwood. My only complaint is the writer quit. I forget his name, but he was going to go do some other project. So they only had to go 3 seasons, and it's sad because it was a phenomenal show. Also on my top 5 list, I will throw in The Leftovers, a 3-season, written to the end, purposely on HBO. It's about basically the rapture. 2% of the population goes missing on a certain date, and it's how the people that are left on Earth deal with it and prepare for what they believe eventually will be the second, not only the second coming of Christ, but like when's it going to come again? When are these people? And there's no explanation.
It's only 3 seasons.
Only 3 seasons. These people did just disappear.
I looked at it, and I should probably get a look at it.
I mean, it makes you think. And Christy, my wife, she bought into it. And the ending, I'm not giving anything away. I wouldn't say it's like. It's not an exclamation point on it, but it's good. They did a good job of just like leaving you there and like giving you something to think about, and they answered some of the questions. So they didn't just leave you completely open like Sopranos at the end or Lost or anything like that. And then 5th, I'm back and forth. I'm gonna call Better Call Saul. It is the prequel.
I stopped after a season and a half.
Oh my god. It's the prequel. It's the prequel to Breaking Bad, and I think it's heading in that direction to the upper echelon like Breaking Bad. It's similar thing. The writing, the acting, everything combined is just phenomenal. Other shows real quick that made it on my short list was Mad Men. I wasn't big into it, but I got to appreciate what the whole package that it was. I loved Hannibal, about Hannibal Lecter. It was also like a 3 or 4 season go from NBC, and then Game of Thrones. I mean, Game of Thrones is awesome. I've got a couple problems with it lately. But not to the point where like it's a crappy show. Just that I feel like the greatness that it exuded in the first 4 or 5 seasons, it's hard to live up to that, and they haven't been able to do it. So it's soured on me a little, but not to the point where I'm at all hating it. So anyway, top 5 recap: Breaking Bad, The Wire, Deadwood, The Leftovers, and then Better Call Saul for me.
All right,
I'd watch them over and over again.
Well, I think we're just a bunch of sheep here that follow along with the herd. But when I watched Breaking Bad, it was one of those things that it hooked you. And I think my wife and I probably watched 4 or 5 episodes an evening. Like basically threw down everything in life to watch this show. It was something that was beyond the time. It connected to the normal man. It connected to the guy who made millions of dollars. It connected to the guy who was homeless. It connected to everything, because it could be you and me that could go off and decide to do something of that nature. Yeah. So and just the way that, it was 6 seasons. It had a beginning. It had a middle. It had an end. I thought it was one of the best ever, and I've gotten a few other people to watch it, and they've agreed.
I've only had one person I've actually pitched it to that didn't watch it. And she got to like 3 or 4 episodes, and she's like, "Oh, it's so depressing.
Right.
The guy's got cancer. I can't watch it." I'm like,
called
"No."
reality.
I'm like, "It's not about him having cancer."
Right. So. My second overall, Lost. That show was a complete weekly mind F, and it ended up each week. And to me, this was the precursor to a Breaking Bad, to like a Game of Thrones, because every week it left you like, what does this? And I'm thinking, when you're saying The Leftovers, I've got to watch maybe, because it sounds like it's in like a vein of a Lost.
Yeah, so I watched the first 2 seasons of Lost, and I liked it for what I wanted.
You go down a wormhole, man.
What I wanted it to be, but it wasn't, I guess, enough. Like, it just couldn't keep me hooked.
Oh my gosh!
And I know there's so many people who love it, but I gave up.
There was fantastical things that were like a smoke monster, and you're like, what the? But then you start thinking metaphorically what it means and what are they doing, and then when they started coming back from the island, is it real? Is it fake? And then it ends, and you don't know why, what, or how. And I must have talked to my partner at school for weeks about the ending, what the meaning was. And I like shows like that where there's a meaning behind it, but they will never tell you, because they know that we're smart people and we'll talk about it. I don't like shows that think that the viewer is dumb, where they have to explain crap to you. Number 3 would be Game of Thrones. I disagree with what's going on at the ending here. I understand where you're coming from, but I still think the plot, I think in seasons 4 and 5, it got a little long and drawn out. I sort of like how they're condensing things a little more,
they were just
making
rushing
it quickly
They're
going
rushing
through.
it.
They are rushing it, yeah. But again, for constraints that mean you don't know about, maybe money, maybe,
but I mean,
they're just trying to end it.
I think part of the allure to it was like how well they developed characters and the stories.
And you started loving those characters. When people died, you're like, what?
This past episode, Arya was like a complete idiot, and they took 3 seasons to build up how smart and conniving and, deliberate and meticulous she was.
There has to be a payoff for her somewhere.
Right, but I mean, they just know they don't have the episodes left anymore, so they're cheating the time and making her look an idiot to help the plot line between her and Sansa go.
But I bet you if you look back at some of the really good shows, especially like Sopranos, let's say, I bet you the last season or 2 it was just knock this shit out and let's get done with it.
Even Breaking Bad season 5 wasn't nearly as good as season 4. It was still a great season, but it couldn't live up to season 4. I still love Game of Thrones. Like, I look forward to it. I can't wait for this Sunday. All I was saying about it was I didn't let it get my top 5 right now because it's starting to disappoint. And when I say disappoint, I mean it's no longer 100 out of 100.
Right.
Now
it's like 95 out of 100.
Now for me, maybe it's like an 82 out of 100.
Yeah.
In the first few seasons was 100 out of 100. So
the preeminent police drama, Over the Wire. And the only reason why it's Over the Wire is because the constraints it had to deal with, because it was a network TV show, was NYPD Blue. If you've never seen season 1 through the last season, you need to check it out, because it was groundbreaking in the fact that they would talk ways that you had never heard before. They dealt with gritty situations that they've never dealt before, and you're talking on the channel of ABC.
So you're plussing it up because of its restrictions and how well it did?
Yes, because when you go on an HBO, you can do whatever the heck you want. So which makes it real and true. And if you look at all the shows we're talking about, including Breaking Bad, it's on AMC, where you still can get away with stuff. When you're talking about mid-90s ABC and you're showing glimpses of people's behind, men and women, and they're using the word shit or they're using the word damn or hell and stuff, which you're coming off the Cosby shows and the Seinfelds and all that. That was gritty, and week to week they actually took, and this was in the same vein of sort of Law and Order, which I disdain.
What you're saying.
I hate Law and Order; it's boring.
But I'm saying you're taking NYPD Blue over The Wire.
I've never seen The Wire.
Oh my god!
Never seen The Wire. No, never seen The Wire.
All right,
and I want to, but I've never seen it.
Stop the podcast and go do whatever.
I've never.
I have it on box.
Have you seen NYPD?
No.
Okay, good. So then this is what we do. You watch NYPD.
Fine.
I watch The Wire, and we're in.
Deal.
I'm fine. I can do that. Okay, good.
Cannot quit though. I had to deal with the Breaking Bad with the girl who quit.
Oh, I'm not going to quit.
Our deal was she loved Dexter and she can't watch it. So I did, and invested 7 seasons of my life into Dexter, and she invested 4 episodes into Breaking
No,
Bad.
I won't
Dexter's,
quit.
Nah.
And again, I'm not going to tell you after I watch The Wire, I'm going to be like, oh, NYPD, because I've heard The Wire is fantastic. But I'm just telling you, for the time period, for what it was,
I hear you.
it caught me every week, and I love those characters. How about character development? When those characters went through drug addiction, alcohol abuse, getting shot, being killed, you felt like, oh, shoot.
Watch The Wire.
Okay, and I'm completely
I'll
in.
tell you this, season 5 of The Wire is disappointing.
Okay.
The whole newspaper angle they go into, the Baltimore Sun. It's still okay TV, but seasons 1 through 4.
But I will.
Woo!
So let's do that. NYPD, I think maybe last 6-7 seasons.
That's a long.
So we'll have to see.
This sounds like Dexter vs. Breaking Bad again.
That's
Something
fine.
I'm getting the short
But
end
I'm
of
in.
the stick.
This one, my last one, was a 1 season off. They did make a 2nd season, but it absolutely sucked compared to the 1st season. But on HBO, True Detective, I think that was one of the
Season
best
1.
put
Season
together
1 was awesome.
shows. Matthew McConaughey, that was sort of in the wheelhouse.
I tuned in just to see him take his shirt off.
Of Dallas Buyers Club. That was in that wheelhouse time of what he was doing. Woody Harrelson, fantastic.
Yes.
The storyline, it was one of those things every week you wanted to watch.
Yes.
Now, the ending left you up in the air. It was a little like, but then when they came out with season 2, it was complete, utter garbage. It was garbage. It was terrible.
I didn't think it was terrible.
Vince Vaughn doesn't play that role well. Colin Farrell, I think, is a terrible actor.
I didn't think it was good, but I think it gets more slack than it deserves because it has to go up against season 1. Like,
that's
right.
right. So just end it. Just end it.
They tried to. And they tried to go a different angle.
Two other TV shows that would have made it, and I actually, while you were talking, put them in there but pulled them out. A family drama with my wife and I love 5 Years Parenthood.
I tried to get Christy to watch that, and I watched like 2 seasons. She wasn't interested.
It was one of the most authentic
that's what I heard.
shows
I watched some of it,
that talks about life and people's developing. And this was before you had these, families that were like 2 fathers and a daughter, or 2 women and stuff. But you're talking about kids with autism. You're talking about families with divorce. You're talking about families who their parents might be breaking up after 35 years because they want different things. Fantastic show. And the other one I don't know if you've seen before was another AMC. It was only around for 6-7 episodes. The Night Manager. Get that. Watch it.
I've heard mixed reviews on that.
Fantastic.
I watched the first season and a half or 2 of Parenthood. I liked it, but there were no dragons and there was no laughing, so Christy was out. Like, she's either got to laugh or have like Harry Potter.
But it's dry laughing. The guy who impressed me the most on that show?
Craig T. Nelson or Dax?
Dax is phenomenal on that show. He's phenomenal.
And is it Peter Krause, the guy from Sports Night?
Oh, well, he's phenomenal.
How did I leave Sports Night out?
I know, but that was only on for like 2 seasons.
3? Yeah, but no.
Sports
actually,
Night.
Hold on. Sports Night goes over
in the
Game
late
of Thrones.
90s when you're talking about
Sports Night
social
awesome.
issues connected to like a Sports Center
Mike,
thing.
if you're listening, Fraun, I'm sorry. I introduced it to Fraun. It's the greatest thing he's ever been introduced to.
It was, and it just ends.
I know. Same thing. They freaking writers or whatever moved on.
And the chick in there that was eventually on Desperate Housewives.
Felicity Huffman?
Hot.
You talking about Felicity?
Yes.
Is it Felicity Huffman?
It is, because she's married to
William H. Macy.
Yeah, she's hot. She's
hot in there. The other girl's hot in there too.
Smoke.
All right.
Good
top
5. I liked it.
Football. What's our timing right now, so we can tag this?
Oh, we're at about 28 minutes.
Oh my god.
Yeah, baby.
All right. Well,
we can go on forever and ever, folks.
I'm gonna go ask one of your sons to come up here, and so we can draft order. So why don't you?
So when we're going into fantasy, like we said last year, 2016, Dan had the best team when you looked at it points wise. But again, we want to let people know, even when you're drafting, doesn't mean, hey man, I've got the best team and I've got the most points. You got to make sure, just like in the regular season of football, are you having the right guys that are slotted to do the best for you down those weeks of week 10, 11, 12, 13, possibly 14, depending on what your draft does with the playoffs. But Dan had the best team last year.
Yeah,
he was rolling and working, and then it just came down to some slips of guys in his teams, and maybe me or other people put guys in that were better.
And sometimes you just get bad matchups too. Like you might have Brady roll all year, and he has one. Like 5 years ago, 6 years ago, he went against Buffalo in Week 16.
Right.
Threw 1 touchdown.
And I think I was one of 3 people that made the most moves during the season. So I want to caution people by saying this: just because you think you had a bad draft doesn't mean you have a bad team. You got to be able to move and work, and you got to be active.
Mike had a terrible draft. I looked at his draft last year; it was awful. But he won.
That just proves that I know what I'm doing.
And he, by the way, he hates Dak Prescott, and he had Dak last year, and he traded him. And guess where Dak finished last year in total points in our league?
6th.
Seventh
Yeah.
overall, not 7th quarterback. 7th overall.
God.
I'm gonna look at your first round pick didn't even stay on your team.
Who?
I don't know because it's not on here. I'm looking at just your final team, like it tells where he's drafted.
But it does say winner next to it, right?
Whatever.
Okay.
Devonta Freeman was your 2nd round pick. You took Cooks in the 4th, Crabtree in the 7th. Jay Ajayi was a nice pick in the 8th.
That was terrible. I hate him.
He was good last
He
year.
had 3 weeks. He had 3 weeks. That's it.
Enough to get you in the playoffs, sneak by, and then beat me by a point in the semis, and then you had Dak in the 9th. All right, so before we get started on the actual preview of the quarterback league, we've brought in Ashton and Jack, and they're going to alternate picking our official draft order. This is exciting. This is almost as exciting as actually drafting. So we'll start with Jack.
We're going reverse order?
Reverse. So you're going to write this down as we go, right?
Yeah, let me go. What are we doing? 15 teams?
It's 12.
14?
12.
28.
It's 12 teams. Jack's going to draw first, and it'll be the 12th pick overall. I'm hoping it's not me. You want it to be you, apparently.
I'll take 10, 11, 12.
And then
I'll
we'll
take
have
10, 11,
Ashton will pick it with 11. Jack will
Okay,
pick
hey, boneheads, do me right. Get me this 12th
Only
pick.
take one.
Do it. All right.
This is for the 12th pick. Open
Okay,
it up.
give it to Dan.
Please
It's on sticky notes. He's having a tough time. His beefy fingers will not allow it to pull off. Dan sealed it with his tongue, apparently, like an envelope, a letter envelope. He can't even open it up. And Dan has dainty little fingers. He's got girl fingers, and he can't even open it up. Look, he's looking through the sun. You should see this. This is hilarious. He can't even find out.
Billy Perryman.
Bill, you get number 12.
I think he had the 12th pick last year.
All right, but Bill did say he's only coming for the beer, and I think he downed about 15 natties last year.
Him and Strine last year were crushing it.
They were just killing it.
Yeah.
But you know what? I got a ping pong table now. We could play beer pong and draft. Why not?
We ought to do it.
We should.
No excuses. No bad moods that night. No, I gotta work tomorrow.
I ain't gonna work.
Whatever.
School does start that.
Come on, Ashton.
Oh, the pick number 11. Ashton's having the same thing. What did you do? Did you staple?
No,
Is
I
this
did.
Gorilla Glue?
I did.
I got it.
Oh, he got it. Rip it apart.
Oh,
what is it?
Come on, let's go.
wait, I will read it.
Okay.
Hey,
Arnold
Arnold.
with the 11th. He's gonna be bitter.
Arnold.
That'll be about the time.
Where do I put
Wait a
it?
minute. That'll be about the time he shows up to the draft because of all the other things. You know, power washing the house, washing the car,
Building the sandbox.
shaving his wife's legs. I mean, all that stuff.
This is where your dad wants his. He wants the pick right here.
It better be me, and if it's not, you're disowned. 10.
Mr. Tim.
Oh, Tim.
Utz potato chips goes.
Hey,
Mr. Utsy Utz.
Why don't you want?
I
number
like
one?
well, if I could, everyone wants one, but I like the end. Go.
I want one.
Why?
I'm gonna get 6.
He
Watch
likes
6.
the ass end of things. All right, let's go. This is for 9. 1.
Here we go.
Number 9.
This one was easy to open.
Okay, let's
What's
go.
that?
Okay, let's see. Gabe.
Gabe.
Oh,
our
the
new,
newbie.
Our newest member.
Gabe.
He's drafting what?
He
9.
is drafting 9th.
All right, that's the Bucking Broncos team.
All right.
This is 8.
Then what's your name for the team?
My name is Kaepernick for president.
No, you should be my balls accurate.
All right.
Dan Strine.
Dan, oh Danny. Number 8.
That's 8. All right.
Okay.
You want to know what my team name is? This is for number 7 here.
What's your team name?
Gifts Girl Allie T. It's awesome.
Jeez! Look at this one.
Can you just open it?
I think it says Ghouls, I think. But...
No,
There's a G. Uh-oh.
Oh, God.
Oh, Lord.
No, it doesn't.
Can you please
Just
go?
open it. Relying on
I bet you,
9-year-olds.
Daddy. I bet you were gonna get first pick.
Well, don't jinx it.
Goolsby!
Oh, Dan
Does it
got
really?
the dreaded middle.
Oh, God. This is not official. We're redoing this.
Number 7. Get the strategy going for the
Dang it.
7th pick. 7,
No, Dad.
14.
That's where Roger was
Dad's
last year.
gonna get 6.
Okay, so you might get your boy.
Dad said he was gonna get 6.
This is not where I want. 4, 5, 6. I do not want.
Oh,
I don't want 4, 5, 6. No.
6.
Jack, what is it?
6.
Adam Barnett.
Adam Barnett. Was that Old Glory last year?
Yeah,
No, Field General.
I forget.
Field, they were both. Him and Strime were both.
Adam,
last
all
year.
right. Number 6. All right, man. This is like the NBA lottery.
Who do we got left? Bowers, you, Smith, and your dad? And
My
somebody
dad.
Else.
Yeah.
Yeah, and somebody else.
Wait.
Josh.
I thought Josh wasn't playing.
No, he's in.
He is?
Yeah.
Oh.
Is it the best number 1?
He talks all that smack about not wanting to play fantasy. I thought he
he's
wasn't
in the league.
Oh, okay.
But I thought you want.
Can
number
you?
one.
Hey, Chach. Oh, this is not your radio show, okay, or podcast. Open it up and tell us the name.
Fart.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
Patrick. Patrick's still out there too.
Patrick, yeah.
Can you open it?
No, it's impossible.
Oh my God, I can't do this with you all.
You can't.
It's absolutely ridiculous that we can't. Dan, next time, let's not make this difficult.
Use
I
this.
should have.
Oh, good Lord.
You tore it. This feels like this should be unofficial now.
Mike Gifford.
Damn!
Fifth. All right, here's 4.
Ah.
We know your dad's taking Ben in the first round, so I think
No, Le'Veon, if he's there, or Antonio. So he's got a 1-4 chance. He's actually got.
if he gets 4,
He's got 2 guys he can pick. So
he'll definitely get Ben in.
I don't know what the percentage.
He
No,
may
not
not-
Ben. No, he's gonna go Le'Veon or
But
Antonio
if
first.
Le'Veon goes 1, and
My
Brown
dad
goes
doesn't-
3,
Then
and he
Ben
does,
goes 4.
Yeah.
It's automatic.
Josh Smith.
Josh is
Smith.
4.
And Josh, just to let you know, Randy Moss is not in the league
You
anymore.
can still draft him though.
Right.
But you get no points.
This is the biggie. Top 3. How's Mike Bowers gonna get top 3?
Bowers, Patrick, and
I
My
bet
dad.
you. I
and
bet
your
you.
dad.
I
Come
bet
on.
you Paul's gonna get.
Would you just open it?
Can you? This again is not talking.
Bauer.
Mike
3.
Bowers, number 3. All right, it is. If my dad gets number 1, I'm gonna lose my lunch. I'm gonna lose it. Come on, Jack, let's go.
I'm trying.
Oh,
Jack is opening up 2.
well, we've got a show to finish before 7 hours.
It takes you an hour.
Come on, I want to open up 1.
It will not
Oh
open.
my
What
gosh.
is who number 1 is?
Yeah, I do.
Who?
Number 2 is Patrick.
Number 2 is Patrick, and my dad gets number 1.
So you
Lock him down for Le'Veon.
Bell.
I can't wait to call him tonight and be like, dude, you got number 1.
Oh
All right, so draft order. Here we go. Number 12,
Good
Bill.
job, boys.
Number 11, Ryan. Number 10, Tim. Number 9, Gabe. Number 8, Dan. Number 7,
Number
Dan
8, Number 8 is
Goolsby.
Dan Strine. Right?
Shrine, Dan Goolsby.
Is it 7? Right?
Number 6 is Adam. Number 5 is your boy. Not thrilled, but I can deal with it. Josh, number 4. Bowers, number 3. Rounding it out, Patrick, number 2. And my dad,
George.
number 1. Oh, I'm going to have to do some
I don't
real...
even-
I'm
I-
going to have to make him listen to this.
I don't even want to do the rest of the podcast now.
Oh, because you're bitter, number
What am
7?
I, 7?
That's a cruddy pick. It really is. Because you know, either I'm going to pick Aaron, okay?
It's fine. I'll take
If
Brady.
it comes to me,
I'll take Brady.
you know, and then on the back way around, I'm going to have to pick Matty Ryan.
So
So,
I'll make it back to you.
whatever. All right, good. We got that down. Let's start
Ah.
talking about the players.
All right, let me see the draft order. Go ahead. What players do you
Okay.
want to talk about first?
So, let's talk just last year. Let's go over.
Let's go through first round real quick. What do you think happened?
Okay,
Your dad
first
takes
round.
Le'Veon Bell.
Okay, predictions. Le'Veon Bell goes to my dad. Who's number 2?
Patrick's taking David.
Patrick's taking. Yeah, he's
He
gonna go
took him
smart.
last year at like.
I mean, unless he goes David West, I don't know, or
What's Bowers
Terrence
do?
West, I don't know. You know, as he's a homer too.
Right, we do have two Ravens fans in here.
Mike Bowers, well, he
He
goes
took-
chalk, so
when
he
he
goes
took-
Antonio Brown.
I think he goes AB too.
He goes chalk.
He went Rodgers at 3 last year.
No, he goes chalk.
Does Josh go Rodgers at 4? As a Vikings fan, to hedge his whole season.
I don't know. Josh hates fantasy so much. I don't know. He might pick Mike Vick. I don't know. Put Randy Moss down for him. Third overall.
Who's he taking? OBJ just left with
OBJ.
an injury last night.
Julio.
Julio.
Give him Julio.
I'm gonna guess. I actually think he's gonna take Rodgers. Then you're up.
Rogers.
I hate you.
I would do that just for you.
I'm not doing this league. You're supposed to
I
take
know.
Wentz. You said you're gonna take Wentz number 1 quarterback overall. You're a liar.
Later on down the
That's
hill.
not number 1 quarterback. Adam, I have no idea. My guess is he'll go like OBJ, and he might go Brady if Rodgers goes. Like,
Yeah.
I might put a run on him.
Little run on the cues.
Oh, I hate this pick so much. I mean,
Wait.
then I would go. I guess I would go Brady, but I don't even. It's garbage.
I need that paper though. I got some notes on it.
It's garbage.
All right. Oh well. Get started on your 7th rounder. I love it. Now that I know I'm 5th, I got it. Okay, so let's go back to last year. I looked up some statistics. I'm going to give you the most consistent players in each of the areas last year: QB, running back, wide receiver, tight end, kicker, and consistent means they produced on a weekly basis consistent average numbers. So quarterbacks, the most consistent, going from 1 to 5. Your number 1 overall consistent was Aaron Rodgers. Your number 2 overall consistent was Matt Ryan. 3 was Andrew Luck. I hate Andrew Luck this year.
What do you
don't
mean
like.
by consistent?
Like the most, like you could count on them week to week to produce the average points that you needed for them. So if it was like 25 points every week,
they're not doing 50 and 0. You're saying
yeah,
they're
they're straight average, and you can count on them. I just don't like Andrew Luck. He's coming off of an injury prone season, and that statistic for the most consistent was for the games that he was in there. I just don't like it. Kirk Cousins. I think a lot of people are on the Kirk Cousins bandwagon. He was the 4th most consistent, and then Drew Brees was the 5th most consistent. Running backs.
all quarterbacks basically.
No, that was for the quarterback position.
Okay.
Now for the running back position, Ezekiel Elliott was the most consistent running back.
I had him.
David Johnson was the 2nd most, and then here's one that throws you for a loop. LeGarrette Blount, 3rd most consistent running back in the NFL statistical data. Like each week, I found it through my research, and I'll read to you what it just took a bunch of stats.
It goes like 14, 18, 16,
It took
20.
stats. It took stats like percentage start to create a consistency rating. It took your player start percentage. Average fantasy points per game, the start, if he was a stud, the number of times a player's point total ranked among the top in the position, or if he was a stiff and he was the lower end. And when these rankings came out, this is what they said. And each week, LeGarrette Blount was a consistent performer because I think he scored, 12, 13, 14 touchdowns?
Yeah.
So that would pump his
They
points
say he's
up.
fat this year, and he's now an Eagle.
And I don't like him. So then you got DeMarco Murray 4th, and then Shady McCoy as 5th. Wide receivers, the number 1 overall consistent wide receiver was Jordy Nelson. Number 2 was Antonio Brown, Odell Beckham.
Oh, this is based on
Evans
I
and
found
Adams.
what you're talking about. ESPN's thing, right? Tristan Cockcroft or whatever. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, what they're saying is, based on where they were drafted, what percentage of time did they deserve to be started in your top 3 wide receivers? And Jordy Nelson, 68% of the time
was there.
Was a top 36 wide receiver.
Okay. Didn't read too much into it, but I just like that they just to give an idea of where these guys are. So Jordy Nelson, Antonio Brown, Beckham, Evans, Adams. Really love Evans.
Yeah, I mean, I might take Evans at 7.
Tight ends, Rudolph. He's sort of like number 1 overall. It under the radar. Greg Olson, Kelsey, Graham,
So all they're saying though is
and Henry.
All they're saying is that could mean though that Rudolph was consistently the 12th best tight end. It's just that he was a consistent starter, not he was a consistent elite guy. Like
Right.
You might have Olsen being, I think Olsen's number 2 on the list, but he probably had more points per game. I'm trying to find it here. Like he did have more, and Kelsey had more points per game.
Right.
But what happens is Kelsey has a couple weeks that Andy Reid doesn't use him properly, and then so he falls like as the 18th.
Right. So I mean, these statistics matter because if you're looking for a guy that's going to give you those points
every week,
that's what you want.
You can't afford to have like the 12th best tight end, the 12th best quarterback, the 12th best running back.
You can't.
Because then you're the 12th best team.
Kickers, just throwing it in there. Bryant from Atlanta.
Kickers are dumb.
Tucker, actually not dumb. When Justin Tucker scores 175 points in a season, more than some running backs and receivers.
It's all about value versus the other kickers. So I mean,
True.
Tucker's the one that I would say you can draft above the last round.
Sturgis, Gostkowski, and Lutz.
Do you know what team Sturgis is on?
Sturgis is on. Yeah, I do.
Wait.
I do. Wait for it. Will Lutz is with the Saints. Sturgis. Why is this now? Oh no, it's passing me by.
I thought it was a fish you were talking about when you said Sturgis.
A sturgeon?
I know.
Oh, Sturgis.
He's on Philly.
Oh, I was going to say Miami. No,
Like,
Philly.
I'd rather have Gostkowski over Sturgis than any day of the week. But
Well, defenses, the Broncos, the Seahawks, the Ravens were the 3rd most consistent. I'm not really picking the Ravens. I think their defense is overrated. I don't like them fantasy-wise. In real football, I think they're going to be something to contend with, but I don't know if it's fantasy-wise. Eagles and Chiefs rounding it out.
They were startable 8 times, the top 12 starting defense. They were studs, and I don't know how they're classifying studs. 2 of those 15 weeks, and then they were stiffs. I mean, they were terrible 5 weeks. So at the top, they had the most stiffs of anybody.
So, and I think this statistic I'm going to give you here might not be for the double quarterback.
I'm the 7th pick in the draft.
And I apologize for this, but when I looked at all the players last year that went over 300, there are 11 players that scored over 300 points. And I think this was in a standard league, so I apologize.
What are you doing? We got to do our
I know,
league.
I have to, but I'm just going to give you this anyways.
Oh, God.
Out of the 11, 5 of them were quarterbacks, 3 of them were running backs, and 3 were receivers.
All right, well, I've got ours up from last year.
I realize that. I didn't look at ours. I was looking at overall
I'll give it now.
statistics.
Out of the top 10 players last year, 11 players last year, 9 of them were quarterbacks, which gets to the point of value-based drafting, meaning your question to me before the podcast was like, why doesn't everyone just take quarterbacks since they score the most points?
Right.
And the problem with that is because the difference between Derek Carr and Marcus Mariota is only a point or 2 or 3 a week. But the difference between David Johnson and Bilal Powell or somebody of that ilk
a huge
is
chasm.
10 to 12 or 15 points a week. So you take the guys who are going to outscore. Like if Gronk's going to score 500 points a week, but the second best tight end is only going to score 10 points a week.
But Gronk will play 4 games.
I understand, but then Gronk's the number 1 overall pick, right? He's going to score 400 more points a week than the next guy, which is extreme exaggeration, but he's so much more valuable.
Understood. Right.
So like Dak Prescott, you hate, scored more points than Ezekiel Elliott, his running back, made last year. More points than Phillip Rivers, more points than Derek Carr, more points than Antonio Brown last year. But it's because he has the ball in his hand, and for our league, we're
and he had a one-off season, so I think he comes down this year. So like we've said before. So, anyways, yes, some of the notes I put on there. The difference between the top QB and the second QB.
It's not great.
It's not huge.
30 points.
The top running back and the second running back, pretty big. However, the caveat in there is that Le'Veon Bell missed 4 games last year, where he might have scored anywhere between 20 and 30 points, propping him up into that David Johnson zone.
Yeah, that's why they're 1-2.
And then between the wide receivers, only, at least where I was looking, and again, I'm wrong, obviously, but there was only 3 points that separated the top 3 receivers.
Let me take a look.
Brown, Nelson, and Evans. From where I had 307, 304.
Yeah, so I'll tell you, in
304.
our league, Brown went 323 last year. Tyreek Hill, who I hate, went 314 because we also do return yards in our league.
Yeah.
So he had return yards and touchdowns. Jordy Nelson was 3 at 304, and so was Evans at 304. So Nelson and Evans were equal, and then Beckham was 303. So like they're all
so on the
similar.
outskirts there. I had McCoy, Beckham, and Murray, who for what I was looking for, again, I messed up and I wasn't looking at our specific stats, but they were just on the cusp of that.
Yeah, if Bell plays those games as a suspension, like he's going to be right there with David Johnson. Ezekiel Elliott as well. I mean, he was a little lower because he's not as big a PPR monster. I mean, he doesn't catch as many balls. And this year he's going to be hurt with either a 4 or 6 game suspension.
Now, what I'd like to go to next is just really talking about strategy here because I have 3 different strategies, and I know now switching to the Superflex, but one strategy: quarterback, running back, quarterback, receiver.
What are you talking about?
Like a strategy, your first 4 picks.
Best player available.
Best player available.
Based on the value.
Okay.
So
you don't go positionally thinking I need to get a top quarterback.
Well, let's go through what positions do we need. We need 1 quarterback. We need 2 running backs. We need 3 wide receivers. That's a lot of positions so far. Then we have a flex, which is any of the 3 skill positions. Running back.
Yeah, but really when you get out of those running backs, those top 5 or 6, man, it just goes, you fall into a hole.
So the question is, do you try to secure one? Like if I'm at the 7th pick, right? Do I try and secure Shady? I mean, Shady McCoy, like, do I do that and hope that, his big question is what? It has been. Is his hamstrings.
Yeah.
Like, if he's
I just don't like Buffalo.
That's fine.
I just don't like, I disrespect Shady McCoy.
And I do too. But the reality is he puts up numbers when he plays. And last year I think he played 12 or 13 games. And if he can play 12 or 13 games, he probably is going to justify his pick. I'm looking at it here. He was the 4th best running back in our league last year. Just behind Bell. Now Bell, again, was suspended for him. He was above DeMarco Murray, above Freeman, above Gordon, who had a beast of a year. So I think he's like in that. He's not in the Johnson Bell tier.
Right.
But he's right
below outside.
And if he stays healthy, he's going to be one of those guys in the year you're like, why didn't I take McCoy at 7?
Yeah.
How did I let him drop to Arnold at 11 or something like that? And get that value there. So, but beyond that, and then Elliott. Okay, here's a question: where do you take Elliott? If you had to draft today it's a 6-game suspension.
Well, I take Elliott just like you took Brady last year.
So you would take him if he gets back to you in 2.
Yes. Like I would, because then what I'm doing in round 4 is I'm going ahead and I'm taking.
You're not taking McFadden.
I'm taking McFadden.
Not there.
I would.
Because you could get someone else like McCaffrey there.
I understand, but I'm taking McFadden somewhere early.
You're taking him. Yeah, you're going to reach around.
I'm going to. Maybe not 4, but I'm taking him.
Not a reach around, but you're going to reach around ahead.
Right.
But that might mean you take him in 9
but
or
no,
10.
I take Elliott if I can get over my stubbornness. I take Elliott
in 2,
like you did with Brady.
Yeah.
Any suspendable guy like that, like Le'Veon Bell, he still went number 1 round last year, and they just said, you know what, we'll wait. Or you
I
have a
think Tim
D'Angelo
got him at
Williams.
I think Tim got him in the second last year, but it was like beginning of the second. Yeah,
Right.
and he held him. He's like, listen, if I can weather the ship,
That's
weather
right.
the storm for the first 2 or 3 weeks, whatever.
Because you're getting a value pick. It's like a guy in the draft who is predicted first round, but ends up as like the third pick in the second round, but should have been a first pick in the top 10.
So you would take
Perfect.
Elliott. I don't know if I would. It depends on what my team looks like. I don't know what I'm going to get at 7. It's going to be Brady, Evans, or McCoy. I'm thinking I'm going to get a choice of those 3.
But
maybe.
see, I almost like that because if you go in Evans and Elliott, and then you go ahead and get your quarterback, you
or maybe I
stand
go
the
Brady
pressure.
and take Gronk on the wraparound and have the.
But Gronk's going to be injured a lot
The
this
double
year.
dip, the double dip.
I don't like that pick. I don't like that pick.
Boy.
So, anyways, what about
Can
the
we
no
talk about-
running back till late?
0 running back strategy?
No running back strategy till maybe 6th, 7th round.
So who are you looking at 6-7?
You're looking at like a Rob Kelly, Fat Rob from
Yeah.
DC. You're looking like Theo Riddick. You're looking at,
Looking at
Thomas Rawls.
Yeah, you're looking at
You
Bilal
know.
Powell, or you're looking at Doug Martin.
Right.
I'm fine with it if you don't get if Johnson or Bell are staring at you 1-2, you don't have a choice. You're in
Well, I think
tell your-
besides them,
tell your dad to forgive me now, but if he doesn't take one of those two, I'm
He's
calling it out.
going
He's an
to.
idiot. Like you take
going
those
to.
2 players.
don't worry. We'll have a solid draft strategy. Trust me.
But yes, like someone from me in the seventh pick or you, like you're looking at McCoy, you decide. I'm taking McCoy because I think he's going to do it. If you do, then you got to take him. But if not, by the time you get back in the second, you may be looking at the best pick might be Dalvin Cook, and like how much do you believe in the rookie doing something? You know,
Believe
so-
100%.
But if you don't, it's like, do I take him or do I take another really good wide receiver, another good quarterback? Because we can play 2 quarterbacks with the Superflex, and then wait for I'm gonna wait for Bilal Powell because, like you said, there's only 2, maybe at the end of the year, 5, 6 running backs where we're all
Right.
like, those are really good players. That means there's only 1 per team for half
I
the league.
cannot start. I can't wait till tonight when I come home from practice because it's going to be 17 mock drafts at the position of 5. Now
Yeah.
I know.
I gotta go.
Now I know.
I gotta do.
Love it.
I gotta do pick 7 now.
What about no QB? What about no QB till late? 7, 8 rounds.
You can't do it in our league with the Superflex. Okay, so we went from a 2 quarterback, which is a mandatory 2 quarterback start, right? You have to have 2 quarterbacks in your lineup, meaning that 24 guys are going to be drafted, no doubt about it.
But couldn't you do something like an Andy Dalton, Trevor Simeon,
You could,
and you would just have other studs in every
could,
position?
but what I'm saying is,
The
yes,
chasm
yes.
between a Simeon and
Roger-
Matt Ryan
well,
and Breeze
that's
is
huge.
huge.
That's huge.
Right. Okay.
But
Is it the
if
same
you-
chasm between a McCoy and a Bilal Powell?
That's what you got to analyze.
You gotta
and
look,
then,
right.
Who was the other one? Rogers. Like so, the chasm between like Rogers and Rivers though, or Rogers and Mariota, isn't as big. So when can you get Rivers? The question is when can you get Rivers and Mariota?
The
Can you get
problem
them at
with
7?
Rivers, and I love Rivers, and I've been slating him as my quarterback if I did that strategy, the first 9 games are brutal
they
for
are.
him. They're
They are.
brutal.
They are.
And a lot of people are saying he's a sleeper quarterback, but then on the flip
Here's the
side,
thing.
they're saying that he is a quarterback to not touch.
Nah, so
Don't touch.
but here's where Rivers' fantasy value is better than his real life value. Right? Like his schedule is very hard, and he's going to throw some picks, and he might throw some late picks.
Well, they'll be
like,
behind in a lot of games,
they'll be
probably.
behind in games,
Yeah.
and he's still really good quarterback. And if Keenan
Right.
Allen's healthy with Tyrell Williams and Hunter Henry, and if Gordon is
Anywhere
what
near what they
Gordon
say,
was,
right.
he should still put up points. And if
Yeah.
you can get him in round 7 to couple with McCoy, aren't he and McCoy better than Rodgers and
That's
Bilal
a good
Powell?
thing to go and look and see about, like, if you get these
Pair
quarterbacks
guys.
late. Yeah, like a Dalton and, like you said, a McCoy. Or like a Julio and a Dalton. Are those two together
Better than
greater
Rodgers and Powell.
than, right, then like you take the best and you take a Theo Riddick and
Right.
whatever it is. So
Exactly.
those are a lot of things to consider. So those are 2 strategies that I had. But I also disagree with what you said with that Superflex. Even though the Superflex you have, you don't have to play 2 quarterbacks.
No, I-
You can ride with
I
one.
understand.
You can
That's why
have
we're doing
4,
it.
6, 7 receivers
Yes,
if you
yes,
want.
that's
you
why
know?
we're doing it, so
I could
that-
go tight end heavy. And I could
Yes.
go with Kelsey, Olsen, and Henry. And I can knock you guys out every week. So I think that's the beauty of that Superflex that we brought into play.
So the Superflex was brought in because what happened last year is most of this league actually are novice players, and so they're also used to seeing, like when they do these previews, it's hard to find a 2 quarterback preview. So they take their one guy and then they think they're good for a bit and they're going to take a backup down the road, but it's not really a backup. They have to start him. But then you have a couple guys like me or you or whatever that are a little more savvy and you're like, oh, you got to start 2 quarterbacks. So I'm going to take Brady and Cousins. And all of a sudden at the end of the draft, you're looking at it and you're like, crap, I got to start Blaine Gabbert as a starting player every single week, and the drop off is huge. So what my point with the Superflex is, it takes it away from having to do Blaine Gabbert as your number 2.
Right.
But if you get a chance to throw Dalton as your Superflex and quarterbacks score heavy in our league, so if That's where you have to compare quarterback to running back. Remember we talked about quarterback to quarterback and they're falling off, and you don't take one or the other. But once you get to the Superflex, if Dalton's a 30-point per game guy, and Dalvin Cook is a 20-point per game guy, that's a 10-point difference at that position.
Right.
Now, yes, you have to make that up in other spots, and you can if you avoid the quarterbacks by being a stronger tight end guy or a stronger wide receiver. But that Superflex, everything is equal.
Right, and then you're going to go week to week by who they're playing and what the better matchup. So I mean, there's a lot of stuff to go into it.
And also, what the Superflex is going to allow us to do is there's bye week for every team. I think week 9 or 10 is Steelers and the Pats are on the bye week. So imagine going Brady or Roethlisberger. Then you're without a quarterback that week, unless you happen to take Trevor Siemian as your third quarterback. Then you can at least throw him in.
Well, but smart people aren't doing that. You're looking at bye weeks when you're drafting. You are not
disagree.
drafting. Oh, I agree. Because I don't think that you go into something and you see a Rodgers and you say, let's...
You wouldn't sacrifice
like
a week to have Ben and Brady on the same team?
I think you would, but at the same time, I don't want to be caught with my pants down if the rest of my team is not that great. I don't want to have a lot of those positions. Maybe just one.
I just want to score the most points possible.
Right, and you're willing to give up that one.
If I have to take a week, and that said, now that people aren't going to be forced to take a second quarterback, I might be able to put Simeon in, and maybe I lose to you, but I still put up 140 points.
But I still think I'm going 3 quarterbacks in a draft. Like I'm picking 3
I'm
quarterbacks.
100% going 2,
right.
And there's a good chance I'm going 3.
Yeah.
And it's a good chance I'm going to go early, too. Oh, man, I can't believe I'm 7th.
I know.
I'm so bitter.
Well, let's move on here a little bit because we're bleeding the ears of our listeners.
You know what I'm not going to do today? Take a shower now. I feel so dirty at 7. I'm gonna bathe in the film.
I love it.
Oh!
Okay, let's look at 3. I think fair to say that kickers and defense
don't matter.
Don't worry about it. Well, it does matter. Don't say that.
It doesn't matter. They're all close to each other in scoring.
Right, but a kicker can be at the end of the week the guy that wins you that week by a point.
Yeah, I mean, yes.
My point is we're not going to dive deep into it.
You don't
so
need kickers.
Let's start off real quick.
I'm looking at an auction from
oh my god.
100,
Justin Tucker scored 175 points last year.
What did the second place kicker score?
Like 160, 150.
That's 1 point a week.
But it doesn't matter. What it matters is that why am I going to pick a running back at that's scoring 88 to sit on my bench when I could have Tucker in the 10th round that's going to go 175?
Oh, God. This is why. Because the guy that's going to score 88 on your bench, what happens to running backs every year?
Injury.
Yes. And if that guy's...
Right, but there's also something called the waiver wire you can get on.
But not in a 12-team league as deep as this is. You're not... Like Melvin... You know who Melvin... Who's Melvin Mack?
The point...
Who's Melvin Mack? Third stringer on the Colts.
I was going to say...
Second-year player who's explosive.
Right.
Frank Gore's the number 1. He's going to get drafted as long as healthy.
Turbin's
the 2. Turbin's the 2, and he's been So someone's going to have Melvin Mack, and he's going to sit on the bench, and he's better than having Tucker, because what happens when Gore gets injured and Turbin sucks like he does, and all of a sudden Melvin Mack's in, he's worth it at the flex.
Okay, that's very good. You're exactly right, but I disagree with you because I don't like this. So anyways, the point is that we're not going to go through all this
Justin Tucker
stuff.
scored 170 points last year. Matt Bryant scored 169. 1 point difference. You're going to take Tucker in the 10th. I'm going to take Bryant in the 20th.
But he might not be there because some people...
He will.
Okay.
Only person that's taking a kicker before the last round is you.
You're right. I might take a kicker in the second, third, fourth, second, to last round.
So can we lock you in? You got Wentz in the first and Tucker in the second.
And the Broncos defense in the third.
That should leave me a good pick at 7.
That's good, right?
God,
so anyways, can we just talk quickly about the quarterbacks? I think the consensus is Aaron Rodgers, obviously. Stud quarterback fantasy-wise.
Rodgers is 1. He's going up against some bad teams consistently, and he's got 4 people he can throw to.
Who are some guys that you think, I don't want to say sleepers, because there are 32 elite people in the world that could only play this position, and probably 16 of them are the elite, I guess I should say.
You mean 32 starting quarterbacks?
Yeah,
and there's one guy who hasn't been signed who's easily better than
who are your sleepers?
Not the Jets starting quarterback. I'd rather have Colin Kaepernick. Let's go back to that.
Who are your sleepers?
So we talked about Tyrod Taylor in the past. I think before Watkins was traded, I was high on Tyrod Taylor when others were, mild on him. Now that Watkins is gone, it scares me. So I've got to come off him a little bit, but I don't want to hesitate having him as my number 2. I think Andy Dalton doesn't get enough respect. You've heard us throw out his name a couple times.
He's mine.
I don't think he's a Super Bowl winning quarterback, but I don't care for fantasy. I need him to throw for 250 yards and 2 touchdowns.
AJ Green's healthy this year.
Correct.
You got Tyler Boyd. You have running backs. You have
Joe Mixon.
You have not even Joe Mixon. You got Giovanni Bernard who catches out of the backfield.
Injury, though.
That's fine. You have Jeremy Hill who can catch out of the backfield. Yeah. Okay. They also drafted John Ross, You've got a stable. They almost mimic what the Steelers can
It's like
do.
you're fighting me right now. I'm the one that
No,
picks off.
I'm just telling you. Yeah, I think these are the reasons why Dalton.
So,
The Red Rocket comes through this year. I think he
especially
does.
in a one quarterback league, I think you wait on quarterback and you let someone take Rodgers in the second round.
Right.
You grab a good running back wide receiver and you take Dalton in the 10th. In a two quarterback league, Dalton's going to go in the 6th or 7th. But what I'm saying is, I think people look at him and poo-poo him a lot.
Right.
And I agree he's not elite, but I think he's a very good, capable quarterback. He's not Blake Bortles.
No.
He doesn't throw up all over himself every game.
I'm not touching Blake Bortles with a 50,000-foot pole.
So that would be...
Okay, I'll take two backup quarterbacks before I start him.
One other guy I love, and we talked about this in the NFC preview show, who you said they're my team.
Right.
Who was my team that you said I went way too high on? Do you remember? Arizona.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I think
Carson Palmer. Yes, I agree with you. I agree.
If the reason I'll be wrong is if last year was his fall off the cliff year, or if I just think it was a blip on the end of his career radar.
I agree the blip.
Sure.
I agree the blip.
I'm not sure.
And I'm happy to take Dalton and Palmer as my two quarterbacks. I'm happy.
Palmer, yeah.
Another guy I think that's under the radar.
Are you going to go Joe Flacco?
Yes.
Because he's going to the Super Bowl.
Yes, he's already won.
Yeah.
He's already won. There's two trophies in.
Oh, the 2017-18 is already there?
It's already there. They loaded
He's
it.
elite. Did he get his bust for the Hall of Fame yet?
It's going to probably come when Ray ascends from heaven next year and goes to the Hall of Fame.
Ascends to heaven or descends from heaven?
Descends from heaven to
he does that a couple times a year.
To grace us with his Hall of Fame speech and then go back up with. He'll take Joe Flacco in his body like this and he'll carry him up there to the gates.
Real quick, guess where Carson Wentz was ranked in our league last year in points out of quarterbacks. Guess.
Okay, go ahead.
Guess.
31.
24th.
Okay.
He was 10 points better than Colin Kaepernick, who everyone hates.
A lot of weapons on Philly. He's going to be a better quarterback this year.
Injured.
He's going to be a better quarterback this year.
Game. Okay. So who's the guy you asked me who I was taking from quarterback?
The younger Manning. I like him this year. I know he throws up a
Eli.
lot of silly interceptions, but here's the thing. You got a guy now in Brandon Marshall on this team that I think is going to produce with probably one of his best quarterbacks he's ever played with. Okay? Jay Cutler, good quarterback for that moment. Right. I think Jay Cutler is a gutless piece of S, but he still throws the ball. Manning is a two-time winning Super Bowl quarterback that knows what he's doing, knows how to run an offense, knows how to play with the likes of Plexico Burress, which you put Brendan Marshall into that.
Are you okay with him being your one then, is what you're saying? Like he's going to be the 12th best quarterback?
Oh, Eli?
Is he going to rank the top 12 at the end of the year?
I say he's definitely in the top 15. But I'm saying, like, he's a guy you can get along with the likes of a Dalton, a Rivers, a Palmer.
So is he better than Rodgers, Ryan, Brees, or Luck?
No, I don't think so.
Better than Cousins, Brady, Stafford?
No.
You said Rivers, Carr.
I like him in that Rivers Carr area, not Dak.
You like him better than Dak?
Better than Dak.
Jameis?
Better than Jameis. Yes.
Jameis and Mariota are two other ones that are.
I know, but they're the golden children this year, and I don't want to.
Well, I agree that people are pumping them
I want to stay away from them, but if I have to, I'll pick them.
But I don't want to reach around.
Honestly, I would pick a Tyrod Taylor over a Mariota or a Jameis Winston.
Over them,
yes.
Or you mean based on where you can get them?
Probably based on where I can get them, but I also
looking at them in the same round.
I told you last week that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers probably are winning the Super Bowl because of what I've seen on Hard Knocks.
The Ravens are winning the Super Bowl.
Well, they've already won it.
Yeah.
They've won it. Yeah. Tampa's going to be there with them, okay? But I just think there's too much hype around those guys right now, and I think they're going to wilt.
So I think
under
what's
that
going to
pressure.
happen is there's so much hype that someone's going to take him one round early,
and
that's
fine.
Right.
Right.
I'll pass on him because I don't think he's valuable there. What I'm saying is I can't justify taking Tyrod Taylor without Sammy Watkins if the value is the same over. Like I would not take a bet and bet Tyrod Taylor scores more points than Winston.
Yeah. Okay.
But based on rounds, I can see taking Taylor 2 rounds later.
And again, I've
So
told
I do love Winston and Mariota.
I've expressed my disdain for Prescott. I just think it was too quick, too early.
Disdain.
And I think there is a huge letdown along with a Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan's going to have a letdown this year too, and I love the kid.
You wanted him to take him
I know.
in the second round.
Oh, geez, can I qualify what I'm going to say?
I'm just calling you out for both
that's
sides.
That's fine. I am I'm hedging. You're exactly right. I think Matt Ryan's going to take a seat back, but it's not going to be like he's going to go from 300 points to 150.
Yeah.
But he's not going to be a guy. I think they're going to have a single-minded focus to get to the Super Bowl and win it this time. And for him, it's not going to matter if Devontae Freeman runs for 5 games and 500 yards, and he doesn't have to throw dick.
But their offense,
He's going to be
is
okay with
through
that.
him.
Yeah, but Shanahan's gone now.
Yeah, but he's still the stir that, or the straw that stirs the drink.
75%. He doesn't run that offense. Shanahan ran that offense. You even admit it because you said Shanahan S the bed for them in the Super Bowl.
Shanahan runs the offense, but it's not going to change having a star quarterback. Is what I'm saying.
It might change for a couple
games.
games.
He may not score 423, but he's going to score 375.
That's what I'm saying. Right. That's the small regression we're taking.
Second,
right.
But that just means you're not counting on the same number.
Right. So again, the Prescott, what they said there with Dak a couple days ago
Dak
on
is your big
ESPN.
guy that you think's coming back to earth.
I think without Ezekiel being there, it's been proven statistically that when Zeke's not in the game, Dak Prescott can't carry that team. He can't carry that team.
So
Zeke carried the team,
Here's
and when
my
he was in
guy.
there, the play fakes worked because you had to put pressure on Zeke.
Here's my guy that I don't say I'm staying away from based on where he's being drafted. I don't want any piece of him this year. It's Derek Carr. I know you love Derek Carr. I know people are in love with the Raiders.
I love him with the Raiders. I don't know fantasy-wise.
So, Last year he had 3 games that he threw, 4 games where he threw 3 touchdowns or more. And that's if you can average 2.5 touchdowns like what Brady and Rodgers do, that's elite averaging. I mean, you're going to have a couple 2 touchdown games, but a bunch of 3 and 4 games. He had 3, then he went 1 and 1, meaning touchdown interception. Then he went 0 and 0, 2-0, 2-1, 3-1, 0-0 again. Then he had his 4-0. Then he went 1-0, 1-1, 2-1, 4-0 again, 1-1, 3-0, and then 1-0. Listen to how many ones were in there. There was 6 games where he only threw 1 touchdown. There were 2 games he threw 0 touchdowns. I can't have that on my number 1 quarterback.
No, and honestly, he's not even in my radar as my quarterback.
Well, I just feel like he's getting pumped up.
Yeah, he is. But I think it's because of the overall team of the Raiders.
Yes,
you know,
but people are drafting him as if he's
plus
a
the
top
contract, and I agree with you. Yeah,
I actually think he's in a year or 2 we're going to laugh at this contract.
It'll be like a Joe Flacco situation.
I think we're going to look back and be like, hold on a second, didn't they know that this was David Carr's brother? And I'm going to be like, I
different
said this
situation,
all along.
right?
Well, yeah.
All right, so let's move on from the quarterbacks. I don't think we have any rookies to talk about quarterback wise. Deshaun Watson, like I said, I think he's going to be the starter game 1. They say Savages, but I think he's
Savages. Watson doesn't look great throwing the ball, but he can still run it.
Right.
And he made every play at Clemson. Against Bama in 2 years.
Yeah.
He threw 7 touchdowns, 1 pick, ran for 2. He had a a completion percentage of 70%. Against Alabama. The point is, he can make the throws, he can read the defenses. I think he just needs time.
He needs time, but I think unfortunately
he's going to be starting in our league as a super flex.
Yeah.
In super flex by the end of the year.
All right, let's go to running back now because I want to save wide receiver for the end because I think wide receivers are the most or the deepest and you can play so many.
What do you want to do, guys? That
I just want to talk. Let's just talk. Let's just see. PPR, some guys I like in the PPR format besides the top guys. 2 guys I'm going to throw out there that I really like and I've been looking at are Duke Johnson from the Cleveland Browns. I think with Crowell and Johnson, you're going to have not a committee, but it's going to be 60-40, and I don't know which way. Right now it's Crowell then Johnson, but it could flip depending.
Well, the other thing about Duke is PPR league, like you said, he was the 5th most targeted running back last year. So if his role continues to grow, which is their intention,
right,
he's going to be very valuable in PPR leagues. Guess who was actually targeted one more time than he was? And it's a guy that gets poo-pooed on all the time. And he's not sexy at all. I don't even like him. Bilal Powell. I don't like
Tell me about not sexy. Exactly.
And I do want to stay away from players on teams with shitty quarterbacks. But there are, even on those teams, there are 1 or 2 players that have to get looks because they have to throw the ball. And so Bilal Powell is going to be owned and started as a running back 2 or a flex. All I'm saying is, yes, I like Duke because of the PPR.
Yeah, the other guy that I like, Theo Riddick from Detroit. I don't understand this love of Amir Abdullah by Detroit. He's a skinny, frail guy, and they're saying we're going to ride and die with him. When Theo Riddick was one of the top PPR performers last year, and you have a Matt Stafford who wants to throw the hell out of the ball, flex him out and throw at him.
When you say top, he was targeted the 7th most, behind TJ Yeldon, who's terrible, and the same amount as DeMarco Murray. So yes, he's as a PPR guy.
Top 10, right? I'm not talking top 3.
Yeah, PPR guy. He is as targets go. He is definitely someone you want to go after.
Right. Some guys that a guy that I've been reading up on, and I hate to say that I like him.
Well,
it hurts me.
Yeah.
What?
Well, I was going to say you were talking about you don't understand people's love for Amir Abdullah.
Yes,
I agree. He came out of Nebraska. It was like a 2nd round pick.
Oh, it's hot that preseason,
and he hasn't done anything. Right?
No.
Guess who I think is exactly the same type of player?
Who?
Dalvin Cook. Built the same. Believe the hype's the same.
The role was expected to be the same in the first year. I don't think he's. I don't dislike Dalvin Cook. I just don't. I think he's going to be the next Amir Abdullah. That's my guess.
I think he's a stud.
I know you do.
I think he's a
That's why
stud.
I wanted to bring it up.
If I wanted to form a team right now with Fournette and Dalvin Cook, I would put a lot of money on that team.
How about you take Cook and Fournette's points in our league combined, and I'll take McCaffrey and Mixon's points combined. $5.
We could do that. I like that.
All right, so I got McCaffrey and Mixon.
Let's solidify that.
McCaffrey and Mixon for me.
And
And
Fournette and
Cook and Fournette in our scoring league combined points between each other, $5.
Yeah, just
All
whoever.
right.
Okay,
Cool, well,
I can do
that
that.
well.
I like that. Okay, so anyways, the guy that I was saying I don't want to do this, but I know he's going to screw me, is Danny Woodhead. You have the number one running back in Baltimore gone now. You have Terrence West who, You have Danny Woodhead. The Ravens threw the ball the most of any team in the NFL last year. Okay, Joe Flacco has two buttons: deep and check down. Danny Woodhead, when he was picked up by the Ravens, scared the hell out of me.
Button. Throw it directly to the middle linebacker's chest.
Well, never against the Steelers. He doesn't do that. Danny Woodhead, I feel, is going to catch a ton of balls in the 5 to goal line range. He is going to be flexed out. He is going to be put out there. He's going to make a lot of scoring.
I 100%
plays.
agree with you because that's what he's done. But here's the problem: he still plays for the Ravens, so there's not going to be that many 5 yard to goal line plays.
I don't know if you watch the Ravens a lot. They
kick 50-yard field goals every drive.
I understand that, but also in the PPR league, he's going to get probably 10 to 15
I think Woodhead is a running
Right.
back too. I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm just saying be wary of thinking he's going to get in the end zone.
The Ravens just have so much luck on their side. They get down there, especially against the Steelers.
But if he gets in the end zone, he has fringe number 1 running back, not overall, but
Number
top,
1, yes.
top 12 running
Yep.
back capability. I don't think he get in the end zone. So I think he catches 60
Yep.
balls for 600 yards and still rushes for maybe 400 or 500 yards as well.
A guy that I know like, and I'm going to go with you just because I like his pedigree, I like his body structure, was Henry out of Tennessee.
Yeah,
I think DeMarco Murray is going to have a great beginning to the season. He is 30 years old. He is going to hit a wall. That's why it's a little sketchy for me to pick him. Derrick Henry, I think, is going to pick up mid-season and be really a good guy to have. Another guy with Kansas City is, I think it's Kareem Hunt.
Kareem Hunt looked awesome.
He's a rook.
He's getting inflated because he's been looking great.
Yeah, and also
Who's ahead of him?
And I don't. I mean, it's Ware. I think Ware's right there. So it's one of those committees
Of course,
that
it's Reed, so he'll committee it for
exactly.
Sure. And then you have Shakondrick West or whatever. So if he's healthy, he's going to get
Right.
touches too.
A team I do not like, and I hope you agree with this, is any running back from the Patriots. Not saying that they're not good because they all are good, but here's the problem: you can't get inside of Bill Belichick's head.
Agreed.
He's
the
tell.
new Mike Shanahan of running back.
You can't tell who's going to run. So if I'm going to die with a Mike Gillislee, who by all accounts is pretty good, but it could be the James White day. It could be the Gillislee day. It could be the Gronkowski Brady show this week. I can't hinge on a Patriot running back this year. I can't do it.
Gillislee were healthy, but he's having the leg issues. And Belichick, he has no loyalty to anybody, right? If you fumble the ball, you're gone. And if you're injured, he's got 4 other guys who are the same player as you. So he's going to figure out another way. And if Rex Burkhead or James White or Deion Lewis come in and play well, Gillislee's going to get his reps, but he's not going to get what you were hoping for.
Right.
So I agree on that. Like, don't overdraft for Gillislee. He was going in the 5th round, and now he's dropping like 7, 8. At some point, you're going to have that value there. The guy I think you want to go for, and he had a great night the other night and looked spry doing it, was Rex Burkhead. He was on the Bengals last year. He took a slant over the middle from Brady and looked quick, and he just seems like the perfect type of player. Like, he's not Edelman and he's not Welker, but he's the guy that, like, Belichick doesn't care about name recognition. He doesn't care about brand name, and so Brady is going to hit him, and I think he's going to be one of those value plays that, like, I keep saying that Woodhead is supposed to be as well. So Rex Burkhead is going to end up on my team a lot. I like Burkhead, but only because we talked about we're not willing to sink a pick
Right.
the pass running back. So I think Burkhead's going like round 12. I'll take that and see what happens in the first couple games. Because did you see him the other night? The slant that Brady hit him on, from the 15?
No.
He came out and did a little running back, well, like, not called a wheel route, but he came in and did a slant in the middle. Hey, Burkhead, no one's on him because he's Rex Burkhead. I don't know that. Are they scheming for him when you got to scheme for Cooks?
and Edelman and Gronk.
That's the
and
great
White
thing about
and
that
Lewis.
offense is you don't know who the hell they're going to
Right.
throw
So
to.
what I'm saying is, instead of sinking a pick in the
Right.
4th round or 5th round on Gillislee, I'm going to sink a pick in the 12th or 13th on a guy who doesn't have a huge upside, meaning he's not going to be Le'Veon Bell,
Right.
but he can still be a serviceable flex player.
Darren Sproles is another one that later in the draft you'll take. He's always pretty good.
PPR guy.
I'm going to say it again because you don't have a solidified starter on the team with the Redskins. Samaje Perine. He is a big boy. I read some things about him. They said he's a refrigerator with freaking feet on him.
He's had a poor camp too.
That's all right. He's had a poor camp, but he could be another guy in that late time where you're picking maybe the last couple of guys, put him on your bench. Another guy that I researched and I looked at, and I really like this pick, and I hate to say it because I don't want other people doing it, is DeAndre Washington out of Oakland.
You can take him.
Here's the reason why. I'm not confident in Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah.
I don't think. And you're going to need a running back, and I think that he might be that guy to go ahead and supplant Marshawn maybe week 6, week 7.
I don't disagree with you, but he's the type of guy you were talking about earlier about having an 88-point player on your bench.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be owned because if Lynch is over the hill or injured, he's going to become the immediate starter. And you got to have that in case he's the guy that breaks out, which means you take him over Tucker or Brian, that kind of thing. That's what we were talking about earlier.
Right.
But I'm also not going to jump out of my seat for DeAndre Washington.
Oh, I'm not jumping out. I'm saying if he's in the 11th round, I might go ahead and pick him.
Yeah, and those are the guys. You got to identify guys. So who's the guy in Houston? The rookie Donta Freeman from Texas, University of Texas.
Dante, yeah.
Yeah, he looks fast. He was good in college. And granted, he was against Big 12 competition, which is usually not great defense. But Lamar Miller, and I don't think Lamar Miller's bad, but I don't know that he's spry enough to hold off somebody with the explosiveness that Freeman has. And if Miller's injured. Anyway, so those are the type of guys you want to take in 12, 14, 15. And here, look, we should have said this in the beginning. In fantasy football, you usually do not win your league in the first 3-4 rounds. Those are kind of picks that are
you win in the late rounds.
Well, no, they're already known. We all know Julio's going in round 1 and McCoy. You have to choose which one you want, but you don't pick. And I'm going to pick on your dad. You don't pick Ben Roethlisberger in the first because you can get him in the 5th, 6th. Because what you need in the first is David Johnson or Bell. Okay, where you win championships are by taking the risks on Zeke Elliott this year, by taking the risk on Brady last year, by getting Kareem Hunt or Alvin Kamara, the backups for the Saints and the Chiefs, in rounds 9 and 10. And when then the guy in front of them gets injured, the upside they have is huge, and then you're basically starting a player that in that round that becomes what's going to be a 3rd or 4th round pick next year. That's how you win. How you lose though is where you screw up the first round, and not by just sometimes you get unlucky, right?
And you start stretching for guys.
Where Rodgers gets injured, you can't do much about that.
Right.
But if you take Jordy Nelson 3rd overall because he's a good wide receiver, no, because he doesn't have the same upside as Julio or Beckham or whatever. You don't do that. That's when you lose. That's how you lose. You can't win it in the first.
No.
When we get down to round 3, we're all going to feel like this. We're going to pat ourselves on the back and be like, I love my team. Because they're all studs.
Yep.
But then you get to 9, 10, and you got 12, 14.
And that's where the real picks
And that's when
come
DeAndre
into.
Washington and the hope of whatever.
No drafts. I am not drafting these 4 running backs. Ty Montgomery, not drafting.
Based on his draft position.
Marshawn Lynch, not drafting.
Based on the draft position. If they're there,
Carlos
late, you're
Hyde,
taking them.
not drafting. And I am definitely not drafting this scumbag, Jay Ajayi. 3 games made his whole season where he ran over 200 yards. Don't care, don't want him. I had him last year. Yeah, he had 3 great games. I don't care.
Wasn't
Not
he
drafting
okay
him.
in a bunch of games?
Not drafting him.
Hold on, I'm looking him up right now.
You look him up. Not drafting him.
He went 18, 33, 59, 206, 51, 48, 61, 45, 77, 79. Then he had a 3-game stretch of 111, 214, 204. That kind of helps you probably get in the playoffs, actually, that little stretch
great.
right there. And
Not picking him.
Then he was garbage in the playoffs.
So,
you're
anyways,
right.
those are the running backs. Let's talk about receivers here. We're running late, man. We are in hour 18. We're having fun, but we are pushing the envelope.
Whatever.
All right, so wide receivers. A guy, again, we're telling you not like the normal guys because we know,
Who led the
Odell
league in
Beckham's
receiving
on
last
stuff.
year?
What?
Who led the league in receiving last year?
Ooh, that's a good call. Led the league in receiving. Well, I know Antonio led with receptions.
Nope.
No? He didn't
Second.
lead receptions? Odell Beckham.
3rd.
Number 1?
Larry
I said-
Fitzgerald. With a bad
that's
Carson
right.
Palmer year.
That's right, yeah.
And he's somebody you can get. He's nowhere near a 1st round pick.
So I'm going to start off late first, mid second this Michael Thomas character out of New Orleans.
So you're talking about where I'm drafting.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to take Evans and Thomas.
You think first or second?
God, I hate the
You
seventh
think first
pick.
or second? Michael Thomas? Stretch first? Definite second?
Oh, he's at the turn. He's 11,
Okay,
12 guy.
good.
So with a 2 quarterback, he might make it back to me. Or
Right.
Mike.
So again, this is all with the prerequisite of, we understand Evans, we understand OBJ, we understand Julio, we understand Brown. So we're not going to talk about those guys. Amari Cooper. This is a guy that's very interesting, and I was reading some statistics on him. Solid quarterback, solid receiver, going to get the touches, going to get the yards. However, do you know how many touchdowns he's had in 2 years?
Like 5 or
11.
8 or something like that.
11 touchdowns in 2 years. He is not the guy they go to in the red zone. It's Michael Crabtree.
Yep.
So that is a little red flag. Maybe he goes to third round rather than second.
Crabtree's
Think
also
about
had
the value
injuries over
pick.
his career, and he was healthy last year, so maybe, and I'm not rooting for injury, but like
So
Crabtree's,
it's sort of like this,
I just
like
think
a
Crabtree
roller
has
coaster.
a decent
Yeah.
shot at injury, and then it's going to free up Cooper. And I also
Crabtree gets more of those looks on the sideline. He's got the
Agreed.
nimble feet.
Agreed.
You know,
But I do think there's an element of luck for a guy like Cooper or OBJ who dominate from like the 20 to 20 and then just don't get.
they did say that.
If
Yeah,
they don't
yeah,
get
yeah.
the looks,
I read they
that's
said
one
that. Yep.
thing. You want to look at red zone.
He had a
targets.
couple drops. He had a couple balls deflected.
Right.
You know, things
It's
like
one
that.
thing if you don't get red zone targets. That means your quarterback's not looking your
Right.
direction. But if you're getting them and they're just not converting, yeah, you still want to look at why that is. But it means
But I mean, for
there's
Cooper,
some level of
he
luck
needs to be
it.
scoring 10 touchdowns a year.
I think he will this year.
You can't.
I
You
think
know?
he will. And I'm
Okay.
not a big car guy, so
Okay,
you know.
good. What about Jarvis Landry? Do we have issues? Do we have issues with the Miami offense? Jay Cutler looked good the other night,
I do I have issues with him? Yeah, I mean.
and Jay Cutler likes to throw the deep ball.
Yeah, well, Jarvis Landry's not a deep guy. He's a possession guy.
I'm thinking of Devontae
Yeah,
Parker.
Parker.
I'm sorry,
I think
sorry,
Parker's
sorry.
a really good upside, but
Yeah.
not as much in a PPR because he's only going to catch 60 or 70. Landry he's a must own in PPR.
4, 5,
because he
6 round
catches-
later.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably 4th, 5th round because he catches almost 100 balls every
You
year.
also got Kenny Stills on the team. Took a lot away from those guys last year.
Kenny Stills,
9 touchdowns.
Kenny Stills
9 touchdowns.
is garbage.
9 touchdowns.
Kenny
Can't
Stills,
fight with that,
he's
right?
Garbage.
But the problem is Tannehill knew to go to Kenny Stills. Will Cutler know to go to that? Will Cutler go to Parker, Landry? Will he go to the guys that are,
There's a thing
in front
called
of
touchdown rate or whatever per reception. Stills scored 9 touchdowns on 42 receptions. It's a 1 in 5 catch rate. Like it's unsustainable. I'm
Just saying.
And Parker has the speed that when Cutler gets in a rep.
Another one, and you're gonna poo-poo this too. You're gonna yell at me, get mad at me. I don't like the Indianapolis receivers. I can't trust Luck. I don't know if I don't like Luck. Overrated. But is he gonna come back from his injury? Is he gonna have a great, outstanding season? Yeah, T.Y. Hilton's good, but there's other guys that are better. Dante Moncrief, is he gonna? Jack Doyle. Are these guys going to be what they should be if Andrew Luck throws for 4,600 yards? Or
Well, if he throws for 4,600 yards, those are the 2 guys catching the ball.
true, but I just don't like.
You have to make a decision.
I
Is
need
Luck, Is Luck healthy?
Right.
Is Luck going to be good?
Right. We'll have
If
to
Luck's
see.
going to be good,
But I'm not willing to touch those guys.
well, then you're saying Luck's not going to be
Yeah,
healthy.
I just don't willing to
If
touch
you
him.
think Luck's going to be healthy, Hilton and Moncrief are going underrated
Yeah.
because of that exact feeling. And
Yeah.
I don't think Luck is completely healthy. But if I was going to take one, it's Hilton because Hilton
Right.
can stretch the field. Moncrief is more of your red zone target. But if Luck's not healthy and he can't start the season or he has a couple of games, Scott Tolzien, is he going to hit T.Y. Hilton and make T.Y. Hilton number 1? I think Ryan took him last year as a 1. I think he took Gronk and Hilton or whatever. He wasn't bad, but he wasn't.
Yeah.
He didn't return value.
Last year, the most efficient wide receiver in the league, 2016. Who?
What is deficient?
Wow, that's a loaded question.
Turning receptions into targets into receptions.
Yeah, and I think for where he was drafted to, I think that goes into it. The best value receptions, most efficient wide receiver.
I don't know. I don't.
Jeremy Maclin, going to the Baltimore Ravens, who throw the ball the most in the NFL. We've already gone over that.
But he can't throw intermediate routes.
Well,
That's what Jeremy
under Joe Flacco, Steve Smith had a 2-year resurgence.
Yeah, but
Okay.
they're different players.
Well, Jeremy Maclin was, by Steve Smith, recruited to come to Baltimore to play, saying that, he's going to be very good.
I'm not trying to be combative with you, but you're saying he's the most efficient. I'm looking at the top 25 guys catching balls.
Best
last year.
values. Efficient based on value.
Top 25 catch guys last year.
Right.
Guys caught the wide receivers that caught the most balls ranked in the top 25.
Right.
Macklin's not in it. So
Yeah, play with
I need
Kansas City,
points,
too.
but I need
Play with
points.
Kansas City.
Well, what do you mean then? Like basically where he's
Because
going in the
now-
draft
Right.
based on his ADP?
Right. And also, when you have Flacco who's going to throw 9 million times this year, you know?
I'm staying away.
It's a statistic that I looked up. I'm not going for him either, but I just want to throw it out there.
Nah,
Okay?
I don't like Macklin. I want to stay away from the Ravens offense other than Woodhead.
How about some sleeper guys? I got a Devontae Parker,
Yeah.
year 3 receiver. A guy that I don't want to tell you about because I love him to death, but Martavis Bryant.
I've been drafting him in every league that's mock draft.
He's
right now.
coming.
What league? What round is he going in our league? Because in the mock draft, I'm
I
taking
don't know.
4 or 5.
I don't know, but he's a guy that a lot of people are stretching for. However, the upside on him is very high because if he can play the 16 games,
I got the 7th pick. Did anybody hear that? I'm so bitter.
okay,
I love Brian.
I think
Brian's
Bryant.
been on every one of my mock draft teams. Every one.
Okay,
Of them. So he will. If
don't
he's there,
stretch.
Well,
Corey
got him.
Coleman out of Cleveland.
no, thank you.
Another guy. Somebody's got to catch balls. Kenny Britt's another one.
Kenny Britt I like.
Got to catch balls.
Kenny Britt's been healthy last
Corey
year.
Coleman's got the speed.
Corey Coleman has been healthy.
Another guy that I'm targeting and I really like, I think he is up there with the Antonio Browns, Jamison Crowder.
He's with Antonio Brown.
I'm saying in that ilk of like we're going to catch 100 balls in a season.
Yeah, but Antonio
right?
Brown.
Exactly. But Jamison Crowder is a worker.
I like
He
Crowder.
busts his tail, and I think Kirk Cousin is going to come again into his own this year. I think
What do you
he's
mean? How do you say that? He's gonna come again to his own again.
he's going to come into his own for another season because there's
I think
people that
Crowder's
doubt
good.
him all the
I
time.
think Crowder's a good player.
Yes.
I
I actually think over Terrell Pryor, Crowder
I
is
do
better.
not agree with that, but I think
Pryor's
Crowder
getting
is,
a lot
I
of
think
hype.
Crowder is a wide receiver 3 in a 12-team league. I think Pryor's a wide receiver 2 in a 12-team league.
Agreed.
Here's something.
I do agree with you.
I don't think we're going to go deep into tight ends because.
No, we don't. We're just
But what I want to say
talking
is this: there are certain times you got to make decisions based off of offense and upside, right? And I was talking about this with Ryan last night. We're playing in a league that costs $350. We're splitting the
right.
and the first place overall prize is $100,000. That's what I want to win. Okay, I don't care about winning first place in my league. I want to win first place nationally. It's life-changing money
Right.
for me. To do that, you have to. There's times, and even in leagues like ours, if you want to put yourself above the next guy, there are times where you're going to be presented with option 1 and option 2. Option 1 is safe. You know you're going to get pretty much the same production you've got in the last few years, and you can rely on. You can put him in your lineup, and you can bank on it. And option 2 isn't necessarily Martavis Bryant, someone who hasn't played, but someone who, when he's in, he's unstoppable, right? Like we talked
Changer of
about
game,
Gronk or
right.
whatever. So the reason I bring it up now is we talked about Crowder, and I had mentioned prior.
Mhm.
Jordan Reed's that guy, in my opinion.
Yeah.
On a points per
When
game,
he's healthy.
on a points per game basis, he was the number 1 tight end the last 2 years.
Mhm.
Agreed, he hasn't been healthy. Neither is
You
Gronk.
give him a solid hit across the middle, he's out.
Possibly. He's had concussion problems, which is
Mhm.
a real issue. But if he does go through that year without it, and you think Cousins is the real deal, at least fantasy-wise, he's being drafted right around the same time as Greg Olsen. I love Greg Olsen. He's going to catch 75 balls for 1,100 yards and 8 touchdowns. Very good floor. You know you're getting out of him, and you can get it like in the 6th, 7th round.
Right.
Jordan Reed, you take in the same 6th, 7th round, and if he stays healthy, he can produce as much as Gronk, who's
As a
going in
number
second.
1. I like that. I like the
So I think
right.
at times, there's
You
times
have
in
to
the
make
draft
that decision.
when you're looking at Martavis Bryant
Mhm.
versus Jarvis Landry, and you know with Jarvis Landry, you're going to get 90 catches for 1,000 yards and 4 touchdowns, and the 90 catches are big. But then you're looking at Bryant, you got to make the decision.
He'll make 60 catches, but some games he might go 160 yards and maybe 2
Is he going to catch
touchdowns.
60, or does he have the ability to catch 80 this year?
Right.
And put up 1,400 yards and 12 touchdowns.
Right.
And like if you can get him at the same spot, do you want floor?
Mm-hmm.
And in a neighborhood league, you probably want floor. But in a national league competing against
You want upside.
500 other people,
Yeah.
you got to maximize.
You got to
your
take
points.
the chance.
And I do think there's an element of that even in neighborhood league. You got to maximize your points.
Tennessee's wide receivers,
I love
solid,
Delaney Walker.
solid,
Love him.
solid wide receivers. And excuse me because I didn't write the first name down, but Matthews. A lot of guys like Matthews, Rashard Matthews. But the thing is that he's like a 4th, 5th even on the Tennessee team. So that's what I've been reading.
He's their number 1 wide receiver.
Oh, that's not what I've been reading. He's in a loaded field, and it's going to be a lot for Mariota to get around to him. So he's another sleeper.
I love Matthews. I think his only competition for targets.
Well, they are saying with like Decker coming into play now, like
Yeah, I mean, Decker's
team,
there.
you know.
But like the only one I would worry about targets with him is Walker. Walker is Mariota's red zone guy.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I like Delaney. Another guy that really didn't do too much in the beginning of the season but came on at the end. However, I don't like drafting him for the specific statistics I'm going to give you. Is from the Falcons, Taylor Gabriel. He scored 6 of 7 touchdowns in the final 8 weeks of the season. However, he only caught 4 balls per game.
He caught 35 balls in the year and scored 6 touchdowns.
Exactly.
That's the same rate as like Stills. He's like a once every 7 catches.
But what I read, they
It's
said that he
unsustainable.
is a sleeper. Some other guys out of Minnesota, Thielen, like him.
Thielen's a good PPR guy.
I like him. Because especially with Stephon Diggs, you don't know if he's going to be healthy. You don't know if he's going to be there.
Bradford's another check down artist.
Right.
Completion percentage guy.
Your boy, who you talked about, I did a lot more reading into him, and this is why I sort of like Tyrod Taylor and him, Zay Jones.
Yep. Rookie out of East Carolina.
He's a stud. Caught 158 balls last year in ECU.
He's a great route runner.
And Bolden retired.
Yeah, Bolden retired.
So you have this hole.
Yep.
Tyrod's got to throw to somebody.
He's
So
got
when you said
Matthews.
Watkins left, I think a young, hungry guy like Zay Jones, who wasn't picked like a number 1 overall, is going to want that ball.
As long as he stays healthy.
Yeah.
And the big question with rookies is what for wide receivers? Route running. Like He was a really good route runner in East Carolina. He was a target hog because he could run any part of the street.
And you got to figure that the Bills are going to be behind probably a lot of games.
I think so. I think they're tanking.
You think? Yeah. It's not like it's anything great.
They got 2 first-round picks next year. 2 early first-round picks.
John Brown, if Carson can stay what he needs
Stay
to
away.
do.
Stay away.
John Brown.
Negative.
You don't like him.
Sickle cell. He hasn't even been playing this preseason. He's completely out of the loop. I think he might not make it past the pup list at this
And
point.
I didn't read into that. I didn't read
So the
deep
guy
enough.
I think that no one's taken, J.J. Nelson.
J.J. Nelson was a guy that I just didn't put down,
So
but
you
I
got
was
Fitz,
reading.
and
Yeah.
you got Brown, and then I'm missing one other.
I can't remember. There's a third.
Why am I drawing a blank? But anyway, J.J. Nelson
J.J.
last
Nelson,
year when
I
he was
did
in there
have him.
for Brown was scoring touchdowns left and right.
For the Los Angeles Chargers, Tyrell Williams.
Yep.
Even though Allen's going to be coming back from injury, but
Well, it doesn't matter. Do you think Keenan Allen is injury prone or injury unlucky?
I think it's just unlucky, and I also think that Rivers is a quarterback. He's going to close his eyes and he's going to throw to whoever the hell's out there. He's a Drew Brees.
So if
I don't care who's
if you think
open.
Allen is injury prone, Tyrell Williams should be an absolute target,
Right.
Because then he's going to be number 1. If you think he's injury unlucky, you still take him because you have Rivers. He's still the number 2 wide receiver. Mike Williams, the guy they drafted, is out with a back injury. He got ready
Right.
or whatever. Hunter Henry is good, but he's not like a down the field.
Yeah, but he is going to take the place of Antonio Gates.
Yeah, but
He's gonna be Antonio
he's basically what I'm saying is he's a tight end, but he's not like
Right.
he's not any threat to take away outside stuff.
No.
Tyrell Williams should be on your.
The other guy, Detroit Galladay, another guy that's going to be in there.
Kenny
and-
Galladay, the
yes,
rookie.
and if he's going again, there's some guys like a Rivers and a Stafford. They're going to use 10 different wide receivers throughout the year because that's how they distribute the ball. It's
Yeah.
not like they're just going to the same dude every
Here's the
time.
thing with Stafford. Like you're right with Rivers. Stafford was more that way last year, but his career shows he's one of those guys who actually zeroes in on people.
Yeah, because he had Megatron.
Well, yeah, but
Now you've got a lot
Even-
of those little. You don't have Megatron. You got Golden Tate, and you have Marvin Williams. Marvin Jones, I mean, and it's not like you're throwing down to a guy who's going to jump up and catch every ball.
Yeah, and you also
You have more underneath guys.
Ebron, and they also took another tight end. So you have Abdul who can catch the ball. You have Zach Zenner. You have a lot of different.
Theo Riddick,
Here's my thing
right.
with Galladay. I like him, and if we would have drafted 2 weeks ago, I would have taken him because he doesn't go until like the 16th. But now, because he's had a good preseason game, and because everyone's getting hard on him, he's going in like the 9th or 10th round. And he's
Oh,
a
I'm not
rookie.
saying stretching. No, I'm
No,
not
what I'm
stretching.
saying is
for him.
he's a rookie
Right.
in playing the slot, and he's a rookie. So like, if he doesn't run routes well, they're not going to play him.
Right.
Jim Caldwell's a terrible coach, but he's not going to put some guy out there who can't run a route. So I just don't think you're getting him at the value that you did 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Sure.
So he might be all right.
Some guys that I like, we said the Kenny Britts. He's come up multiple
I like Britt,
times.
yeah.
They got to throw to somebody. A guy in the New Orleans offense, Willie Snead. I've had him the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Breeze, if he's going to throw 5,100 yards or 4,900, he's got to throw to people.
Yeah.
And Cooks is not there anymore. So
I think what that really means is Michael Thomas is going to be a stud.
stud. No, that's
I
fine.
also think Alvin Kamara is the backup to Peterson and Ingram, and he's a guy who catches the ball. He was from Tennessee. He caught
He'll
a
be a
ton of
third
balls.
down back, you think?
I think he's a third down back
Yeah.
with the possibility of being the guy,
Yeah.
especially because Ingram and Peterson are injury prone.
Yeah, I'm not really a fan of Peterson this year, but
But what I'm saying is, so I think if Thomas is the main guy, yes,
Yeah.
Snead's going to get his. Snead, right? He's been around for like 3 or 4 years. He's not much better than a 50 catch guy. He's okay for your plug and play bye weeks when you need a
that's what I'm
flex.
saying. I'm not going to pick any of these guys number
I know.
one.
I'm just saying. I'm also.
We're talking like round 7 and beyond.
Yeah,
You know.
round 7 or so you start. What I'm saying is, I'm not targeting Snead even as my wide receiver 3. I'm targeting him as my 5th receiver, so that when Brown goes on a bye, I can plug him in on a bye. I'm probably not playing
Or
him
good
on-
matchups.
Another
guy that you drastically hate, but I am going to tell you that I like. I don't think I'm picking him, but I do like him. Is Tyreek Hill. He is the number 3 wide receiver in getting open on his routes.
Correct.
behind Antonio Brown and Odell Beckham.
Correct. What is his downside though?
He's small.
What else? What's going to limit him?
His route running, like you said.
No,
I don't know what.
Alex Smith.
Oh, yes, but that's a given. We understand that.
Well,
it
you
took
can get
down
open
Jeremy Maclin too as a decent receiver.
You can get open all you want, but if Smith can't get you the ball,
True.
It's not.
But
gonna
if
matter.
you get him the ball, and you know Andy Reid will find ways to get him the ball.
I think he will be a top 36 wide receiver, but he's being drafted like a top 20, so I'm not touching him. Also, I think.
Like I said, I'm not touching him either. I'm just letting
letting
you know.
Who's going to blow the F up this year? I actually think is going to be the number 1 tight end is Travis Kelce.
Okay.
There is no
It's a tight end offense. That we know Andy Reid loves his tight ends.
He had 80 some catches last year. I think he's going to be near 100 catches this year. He's not Gronk, but I can see 100 catches, 1,100 yards, and 10 touchdowns. Kelce.
It's a safe offense.
Targeting in the 3rd round. I like Travis Kelce.
It's a good team.
I do not like Tyreek Hill. But in our league, what did I say we get? Return yards. So if he does return still, he's actually pretty valuable in our league.
Cole Beasley, like him. Here's a reason. 76% of the time, he caught his targets thrown at him. So that means when you are targeted, he was the 3rd highest player in the NFL to catch those targets.
Well, what kind of balls?
He's a slot underneath receiver.
So he's catching 6-yard.
But you have Bryant opening the top up because that's what he does.
I'm not disagreeing with that.
Check down for a second-year quarterback who might digress, and they might have to regress, and they might have to simplify the offense for him. Just saying.
Agree with that, but he has. So you have to, when you say upside, I mean like his efficiency, right? He was 75 out of 98 balls last year, so better than 75%. But his downside is he's catching 6-yard ends, so he only caught 833 yards. He's catching 10 yards a catch roughly, which is poor. Mm-hmm. But that's what he is. He's fine as a flex player or whatever, but. I guess what I'm saying, the upside of him scoring 10 touchdowns is very unlikely. And him catching 100 balls, I can't see that either.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
These
are guys later.
I hate,
yes.
Who I've loved the last 2 years. Okay. I got burned by last year and reaped the rewards the year before.
Okay.
Any guesses? Was awesome 2 years ago, was awful last year.
It's not the guy I want to tell you about.
Allen Robinson?
No. Phew, thank God.
Allen Robinson from Penn State 2 years ago was arguably a top 5 wide receiver.
I know, but that was... Blake Bortles wasn't on the sauce, maybe. I don't know.
Blake Bortles
he's a
awful
piece of
last
shit
year.
Is what he is.
Robinson also dropped a shit ton. So Robinson was targeted.
And I went with Bortles. I think I was high on that kid.
Robinson was targeted 151 times last year, only caught 73 balls. Similar to Hopkins. Remember, he had Brock Osweiler, 151 for 70, but everyone else catch percentage is much higher. But he's in the top 8 of being targeted. It's just Bortles can't get him the ball. And there are times he drops some passes too. But anyway, Allen Robinson's being drafted as in the second round. I don't want him.
Not touching him. I like Pierre Garçon. Here's a reason why. He had 113. He had 113 catches, 1,346 yards, 5 touchdowns under Mike Shanahan in DC. Mm-hmm. He is in Mike Shanahan's system out there. Hoyer is a quarterback that is capable. We've seen him if he doesn't get injured to run a decent offense. Pierre Garçon is still a big, tall receiver that can catch balls.
113 yards though.
I think it was 2 years ago. 113 catches.
2013.
Okay, a couple years ago with Kirk Cousins. Right.
Might have been before Cousins, right?
But that's fine. It was still under Shanahan.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I would say he is 4 years older.
Oh, that's right. Shanahan was there a couple years ago. It wasn't last year. What am I talking about?
He's 4 years older, and he does have a shittier quarterback.
Right, but again, like the Jets, somebody's got to catch the ball. Speaking about the Jets, Robbie Anderson is another one that we're looking for.
He and Power are the only 2 players on that team you're going to
Anunwa is injured, so again, they're going to be behind in every damn game. Yeah. Somebody's got to throw the ball to, right?
Yeah, Robbie and Bilal Power are the only 2 Jets you can think about.
So,
I guess Forte if he's healthy, but I think Bilal Power's the guy.
We could speak for another 16 hours on fantasy, but I just want to go home and revel in your number 7th pick. I love it.
Anybody's actually listening, apologies again, I went so long. I mean, we talked about this. We could talk for 10 hours on fantasy. We tried to narrow it down to our league, the specifics of a 2 quarterback league, and go over PPR. We tried to give you some plays that
we like that aren't being as hyped, and then some guys that we don't want to touch based on where they're being drafted. So we ramble a little bit.
Hey,
But
we have
like
fun.
I said, we could have gone on for 5 hours and stuff.
So good luck to my dad at number 1, Patrick.
luck. You better
really
take Bowers
don't
first.
care, Patrick, because I don't want some young kid whooping me. Bowers, whatever. Josh, we know Josh. He's probably going to pick Randy Moss and Mike Vick because jaded Josh, we got him being sports and whatever. I'm not being mean, Josh. Just teasing you. Adam,
You are being mean. You're mean.
no, I'm not being mean. Dan, again, F off. I could care less about what you're doing because you lost last year. Whatever.
Best team in the league.
Dan,
Strine.
good luck to you. Gabe, good luck. Tim, F off. You like the Ravens, can't handle you. Ryan, I don't even know if we'll see Ryan for the fantasy draft. We don't know.
Actually, he's been given the free day that day.
Are you,
We're doing the 7 a.m. golf.
dude? Can we be here at 6 and just start drinking at 6 to get this boy
6 a.m.
torn up?
6 a.m. drinking.
Love
7
it.
a.m. golf. Then he and I are doing the $350 draft at 1 o'clock.
I might come for that. I just want to be
And then
there
we'll
for
probably
that.
nap in the afternoon / get yelled at by the wives, and then we're coming to your house for the late draft. It's gonna be a bachelor.
And then
It's
Bill
amazing.
Pearlman. Okay, here's the
Apparently.
thing. Between Dan and Bill, Dan Stride and Bill, what's the over-under on natural
Lights.
lights that they drink? Here we go.
Woo!
What's the over-under?
It's a case together. They can do a case together.
Together, I'll go over a case.
Yeah,
Because
that
it's
means
at night.
That means they
Well,
got-
no, I'm going to go under a case because they've been drinking all day. I'll go under.
How do you
Under
know
a
they've been
case.
drinking all day? They're not golfing. And
They're going to because they're just going to be amped up ready. 8 o'clock draft time? Shoot, come on. I'm going under a case.
Strine's showing up with a case and probably ripping through himself. Did you see him last year?
No.
Every time I turned around, he cracked a new one.
And we have a pong table downstairs so we can play beer pong.
I know. And
While
I
we're
was
drafting.
depressed last year and couldn't have a beer. And literally every time I turned, Strine's like, crack,
Yeah,
gone,
yeah.
crack, gone. He's like, hold on, it's my pick. Hold on, I got 2 to go. I'm like, oh my god. And
I still will take under a case between them
between
both.
the two,
I'll take under a case. Just to say it.
I'll go over.
Okay, so the draft is going to be Sunday, September 2nd,
Third.
3rd, my house, 8 o'clock. We actually should just put the microphone on and record some of this and just send it out and be like, hey, here's what we're doing.
You do a
But
live stream.
Nobody
not,
will listen.
not a live stream, but like
Facebook
just the
Live?
video. You set the video thing up because you have everyone around playing beer pong. And
Yeah.
are you going to put it up on the big screen again?
Yes, yeah.
So we'll have the draft on the big screen. You have 12 donkeys sitting around.
I actually could probably put this on there with the FaceTimers. I don't know. We could work it out. But anyways, we got to get out of here. It's 1. I'm starving. I haven't eaten anything all day. My kids are downstairs fighting with each other. My wife's coming home soon. We're supposed to go to the pool. I got 2 days left before I go back to work. Life is going to be miserable starting Friday.
Sounds terrible.
Okay?
Why
So
would you do
F
that?
off. F everybody. Listen to the podcast. Go to
Oh.
Facebook. Go to YouTube.
Forgot this.
Listen
I
to
wanted
us.
to do this, and we're not done yet.
Oh, God.
Ready?
What?
Build your ultimate Game of Thrones squad. I meant to do this. You
We're
have,
going to fantasy draft a Game
yes,
of Thrones?
right now we're doing it.
Oh, jeez. Okay, let's go.
You have $15. That's your budget.
$15. Okay.
There are
15.
5 tiers.
5 tiers.
In each tier, you can only take 1 player
Uh-huh.
or 1 person.
Uh-huh.
In tier 1, you have Daenerys, Snow, Cersei, Stannis Baratheon, and High Sparrow.
What in the top tier?
In the leader
Can we
tier.
take the same guys?
We can take the same guys.
Oh, well then what's it based on though?
So,
Like,
write those guys down. Daenerys, Jon, Cersei, Stannis, and the High Sparrow. Okay,
Mhm.
you have those 5. Those are your leaders. Hold on. Daenerys is worth $5. Snow's worth 4. Cersei's worth 3. Stannis is worth 2. And Sparrow's worth 1. Okay.
Mhm.
I'm going to give you 4 other brackets. You have to then assemble a crew that is no more than $15.
right. But what do you score points on?
There's no points. Just what would be your clue, or what would be your team?
Oh, well.
Okay, ready? So the magic bracket
Mm-hmm.
is Bran, Melisandre, Jaqen Hagar, Master Qyburn, and Samwell Tarly. In that order, 5 through 1. So $5 to $1. And the strategist,
Mm-hmm.
me, is Tywin, Littlefinger, Robb Stark,
Mm-hmm.
Tyrion, father.
Mhm.
No, excuse me, the son, and Olenna Tyrell. 5 to 1 going down the way I read it to you.
Mm-hmm.
The fighter, Oberyn, Dario Naharis, isn't he the Dothraki guy? Arya Stark, Brienne of Tarth, and Bronn. 5 to 1 as I read it down. The muscle, I don't know who this is. Woon Woon? 1-1? That was 1-1.
I can't remember.
I'll look him up. 1-1. The Mountain, Khal Drogo, the Hound.
Hold on. Drago.
Yeah, Khal
Hound.
Drogo, and then the Hound, and then Tormund Tormund's the wildling guy, right? The redheaded guy.
Mm-hmm.
Let me look up who won.
So let's see. 4 plus 1 is 5.
Yep.
Plus 2 is 7. Plus 1 is 8.
Oh,
Plus 2
that's
is 10.
One's the giant.
No, I'm out.
Well, yeah, he's your fighter. That's what you got to do.
Okay, I picked my people, but I'm like 6 under $15.
That's fine.
Awesome. So I'm going Jon Snow number 1. He's legit. I'm going Sam because Sam's got the sword and there's something about him. Tyrion, he's the best damn character. Why is he at $2? Whatever.
I think for strategists, they're saying Littlefingers, like they put him up there.
And you know what? I'm going to switch. I was going to go with Bronn because I like Bronn, but I'm going with Brienne from Tarth because I think she's a badass woman. And then I'm going with the Hound. How do you not go with the Hound? Hound's got the best combination of heart, which we see very little.
I love the Hound, but the Mountain pushed him in fire and will kill him in the end.
Absolutely not.
He's going to kill his brother.
Nope, the Hound will destroy the Mountain. Watch.
So.
Because it's been happening, because look, he had the fight against the fire, and this week, over his own, he didn't want to do it, but he went in and saved Tormund.
Yep.
And he is going to defeat the Hound.
So I'm taking Cersei. I hate her, but I think she plays the game as well as anybody.
Yeah, she'd be awesome at a fantasy like. She'd be awesome.
She knows
like
when to kill,
Big Brother type of thing,
and she knows when to make a deal. So
and she's vicious too. Vicious.
I'm going to take Bran. How can you not take Bran? The guy can see anything he wants to see. Strategist.
But Sam's smart. Strategist,
over Bran. I'm taking Littlefinger. You know what? No, I agree. Tyrion. I'm taking Tyrion.
Tyrion's the best character and the smartest dude in the whole thing.
So what am I at right now? 10.
Brienne.
So that gives me
12, and the Hound 14.
That gives me 5 left.
Arya, you can do Arya and the Hound.
I'm taking Khal Drogo for 3. The Dothraki guy.
Yeah.
So that gives me 2 left. Okay, then I'm taking Brienne. So let's compare what we have. I have Cersei. You have.
Got Stark.
No, you have Snow. I thought.
Jon Snow. Sorry.
I have Bran. And you have
Sam.
I kill you there.
No, you don't.
I have Tyrion. You have Tyrion.
Yeah.
I have Brienne.
I've got Brienne, and then I got the Hound.
Khal would kill the Hound.
No, the Hound should have died. Came back. He's
I
got this right now.
I love the Hound.
Beep, beep, beep.
You know what Khal Drogo has? He eats hearts. All right, well, that'll do it. I won Game of Thrones. I won the top 5 lists.
Oh my god. You win everything.
We solidified a bet. We got Mixon and McCaffrey versus Fournette, and
I win all the bets. Remember the 5s? All those? I win them all.
I can't wait. I'm gonna have enough money that I can buy us both tickets to see Steelers Packers in the end.
That's awesome. My buddy for his birthday just got Steelers Packers tickets because his wife's a Packers fan. He's a Steelers fan.
I'm a Packers fan.
40th
You're a Steelers
birthday.
fan.
I know, but he got the tickets.
Why don't you?
Section 103.
You should have figured this out for us. We should have podcast from the. We should have
his birthday
tailgate podcast from there or whatever.
All right, we'll see y'all next week. Listen, please go on.
2 hours long?
About 147. That's awesome.
Longest one?
Yeah. Hey, just crown me the back-to-back champion. I'm going to be the home run champion. I'm going to be the fantasy. Oh, I am the current fantasy league champion. And when we play the
tournament of champions,
I will be the tournament of champion. I'm going to have the triple crown in this neighborhood.
What we should also do when we set up the tournament of champions is not just have it set up, but actually set odds on who we think will win, like real odds, not just like I'm Mike
and I'll be last because he's old and everything. F all of you. F all of you.
John's the oldest though.
Who's the current home run champion?
Okay, fine.
Who's the current fantasy football champion?
Oh my god. Are you going to win the 300 meters?
Winner, chicken dinner.
300 meter?
We're running 300 meters? Oh, it's okay. A triathlon, a pentathlon, you don't have to win everything. Okay.
Are you going to win the 10 lengths in the pool?
What are we doing? I might die in this stuff. Whatever. I'm still.
We'll have to do.
Can we play a bat and ball game or a throwing?
Yeah, we have a home run derby with a 3-point shooting contest. We have a penalty kick. We have a field goal kicking. We have beer pong, ping pong, cornhole, golf, which is like a hit 75 yards out, and then we'll have some actual stuff but we're gonna get torched. The 300 meter.
300 meter.
And a swim.
How long is 300 meters?
3/4 of a track. Like just a flat out sprint. Like Bowers is gonna just destroy it, and you and I are gonna tear Achilles. We ought to do a tournament of champions preview. So I've almost got to.
Okay, I gotta go because I gotta start training.
All right.
Bye.